Hello everyone and welcome to the Oceanic University Championship Grand Final. My name, Bryce Egan Paul. Got my name wrong, that's a bit unlucky. You, Tim Carbon Wendell, how are you feeling about today?
Feeling very good. Excited to do some casting with you, Bryce.
Yeah.
I don't think we've ever casted before, actually.
I feel like we may have done a trio, but never just us two.
Perhaps we have. I was thinking about it this morning because I feel like every time when we both started casting, you always had to cast with like a professional, like with Spawn or Fish or someone like that. I don't think we've ever, but perhaps we have.
Yeah, it'll be an interesting little day for us here. But of course, talking about the grand final today, the two teams competing are Monash University and UNSW. They're going to be the two teams facing off, and they have a pretty big prize to play for. You know, this is a LAN event over in China, a collegiate tournament where they get to play against teams across the world.
Yeah, absolutely. A fantastic opportunity for both of these teams. I mean, there's no wild cards, so they don't have to deal with what the OPL teams have to deal with. They get to play. They're immediately thrown into a tournament with all the major regions, which is, from a playing perspective, an awesome opportunity just to learn from them. But more than that, I think it's just be an awesome experience. Just, you know, traveling with your uni mates.
Having a good time?
Yeah.
Playing some League of Legends.
Exactly. Like,
what more can you want?
That's the dream, right?
Yeah, I mean, we've done it together. It is pretty fun, but to bring the lineups back onto your screen real quick, on the blue side for the first game of the day is Monash University. Series, friend of the show, we've seen him around the OPL a few times. He is in the top lane, Uni in the jungle, Alpha AM in that mid lane, and rounding out the bottom side of the map is Harry and Vance.
Playing for the UNSW Lions, we have Glup in the top lane, Midcam playing jungle, external middle, and Baddie and Bensong. They make up the bot duo.
Yeah, it will be interesting. Of course, we have a few familiar faces. On your screen right now is Series, ex-Legacy player. How do you want him to go today? What are you expecting out of him?
He did 2 weeks with us at the very start of the year. Unfortunately, Jusan had a forced vacation.
Is that what we're calling it now?
So he did 2 weeks with us. He came and lived at the house and scrimmed with the team. Super nice guy. He's a friend of mine, and I think he's quite a talented player. He's still playing OCS as well. So I'm expecting pretty good things from him today.
Yeah, absolutely. And another few familiar faces. We have Glupify. He's played... or actually just Glup in this tournament. You know, people are changing their names. It's esports. Like every now and again,
shorter and shorter.
You decide you want your name a little bit shorter. He's played a few weeks in the OPL here and there. Another just few familiar faces from the Oceanic Challenger series. Seen like in just solo queue, Hyela, you have Mincam, you have Vans, players that have been around for a long time that we personally and other players have experienced just in solo queue. Yeah,
for sure. I mean, Alpha AM and Harry, I see him in Twitch chat for OPL all the time, flaming everyone, which is really exciting because now we get to watch him play.
Now we get a microphone and he gets to sit behind the computer and he has to play. He has to get judged all the time.
Which is one of the best parts about watching OCS and Challenge LOL.
Yeah, 100% is there, as we are going to get into game fairly soon. We're actually into Champs League straight away, and we talked about Mincam.
Yep.
He's a big Rengar one trick, and that's going to be the first ban taken away. Yeah,
he's been a Rengar one trick for the last 3 or so seasons. I recognise his name straight away. For those of you who do play high elo solo queue, his name is actually Mincam12321.
Is that the correct numbers? Like,
I believe it is. I believe it is.
I'm
quite sure that it is. Or it's 1, 2, 3 all the way up to 9. Actually, that's what it is. It's 1, 2, 3 all the way up to 9.
You don't see that often, where people just stick with a 1, 2, 3. Rarely do you get like the entire finger dragged along the keyboard.
Well, the thing with most like one tricks and Smurfs and stuff is normally they change their name like pretty regularly so that you don't ban their one trick. But Mincam, he's stuck with his guns. He's like, look, I play Rengar. This is my name. Fear me.
Yeah, I like that. That's the confidence coming
I agree. I'm a big fan.
And we have all through the bans already. Fairly quick draft coming out of these two teams. You have a couple of target bans across the board. Not so much the meta stuff. Rengar, Soraka, and the Kog'Maw banned away from Monash and UNSW, hitting them with the Alley, Nocturne, and Fiddlesticks.
Yep. I think Kai'Sa first pick, likely to be a funnel. I'm not sure how... These are university teams, of course, so I'm not sure how much they practice. I can't imagine it's as much as a professional team, but funneling with Kai'Sa at the moment is super strong. Yep. She's definitely significantly better in the mid lane with XP than she is bottom lane. But again, not sure how much they practice that and whether they're willing to experiment. And
that's the thing with League metas, stuff like Funnel that kind of comes out of nowhere. It has been around for a little while now. You have seen it for like over a month, more weeks than that. So in terms of trickling down, these teams would have been familiar with it, have a lot of time to practice behind the scenes. A fairly tanky lineup already picked up by UNSW. Ornn can be flexed almost in all 3 lanes. You see a little bit in the mid lane, not so much anymore, but you think it might just be going towards the top?
He definitely can play all 3 lanes. I think he's quite good into the funnel as well because he does clear the wave relatively quick, but also he doesn't really matter if he doesn't get gold. So he's sort of relevant either way. And when you play against a funnel, what you really want is your side lanes to be really strong, because the funneling team, they don't have a jungler. Their jungler's just sitting mid, giving someone else farm. And so if you're playing standard versus a funnel, it's really important for you to get priority in the side lanes. So I feel like
you're just an absolute brick. You're just a huge tank with a hard engage coming from very far away. This is a very quick draft. Continuing through the rest of it is the Braum paired up. Could be a funnel. Could just be towards the bottom lane. The Kai'Sa Braum fairly strong in the laning phase. Kai'Sa scales incredibly well. It might just be that Mundo taking on in the top side, but MF is a fairly interesting lock-in we haven't seen for a while.
Yeah, Baddie plays a lot of Rageblade MF, which will be interesting for sure. It's definitely a high damage build, but difficult to pull off. MF, very immobile. Generally, people build her for her abilities and her ability to send away from the team fight and make it rain and follow up with the ult. But yeah, the Rageblade means that she needs to auto-attack, which is going to be very interesting to watch. Yeah,
interesting to see how it goes there. Of course, when you pair it with something like the Ornn, they've already got that big, beefy front line. They have the setup. MF traditionally sort of relies on the rest of her team to CC lock people down so that she can just layer the Make It Rain and the Bullet Time over the top. The next phase of bans get taken away. Talia, big priority jungler, does get taken away, of course, as Monash have not selected a jungler of their own. Talon Smite mid, kind of making a surge into popularity. That hits the bench, and just some supports taken away in the Nami and Morgana.
Yes, the support ban suggests to me that potentially this Braum is going bottom lane, but Kai'Sa Braum is a very popular funnel. We see that quite often as far as funnels go. So
we're about 18 seconds out from figuring out if it is a funnel or not. Their next lock-in will probably be able to decide that one. Swain, super highly prioritized pick. The Ornn we talked about can flex kind of all over the place. Swain is almost in exactly the same boat. And that's an actual jungler, so
pretty safe to assume no funnel coming out. Very interesting then that they opened with the Kai'Sa Braum so early. I mean, it's not a weak bot lane, I suppose, but it's certainly not priority, and they've locked it in very early.
But I do like the Braum into something. Like, if you scout out your opponent, obviously played against these guys a lot, talk about the MF pick and their propensity to pick that champion up, then you just lock in something like the Braum. Sure, it is more defensive, but you can just block out the ulti. You can block out all of those waves coming through. So it makes sense to take that one away early. Kindred was the lock-in for the jungler. You're more of an expert in the jungle pool than I am, but Kindred seems like a very good pickup into the Trundle.
Kindred Trundle, yes, but it's one of those ones where if Kindred face checks Trundle, it's very easy to die.
Yep.
Like, she can just get one shot. If he makes a mistake in pathing early, Kindred definitely wins the 1v1 if she has vision of Trundle, but it's one of those ones where a pathing mistake means that you face check, auto Q, auto, and all of a sudden you've got no health because he runs press the attack, red buff, he's stolen your AD, and you need to flash out. So Kindred definitely has priority, let's call it, but there's absolutely room for Trundle to outplay.
And I take a look at the bottom lane, and Sona MF is disgusting to play against. That is so much poke. That is so much damage that's going to come out of the bottom lane of UNSW, and you're a Braum, you're a short range of the Kai'Sa. That's going to be pretty rough to deal with early game.
I mean, I feel like junglers are going to have a big impact here.
Yeah.
A Braum into Sona MF. The snowball potential is very high. One flash Q or Kindred flashing into the lane and slowing this Sona. If she dies once, if she loses a flash, I feel like she's going to feed.
She is the squishiest level 1 champion. Like, literally in the game, has absolutely no HP. Not to mention Vans on Monash. He has the Braum. There's so much outplay potential. You can just block Sona ulti if you pull up the shield at the right time. You block that, you block MF, then all of a sudden, almost all of the damage tools from this UNSW side do get taken away. So there's definitely opportunity there.
Yes, but yeah, I think it's all going to come down to jungle pathing early. Very interested to see what this Kindred does, whether or not he noob baits himself on the mark,
noob baits himself,
or whether he looks for some ganks early.
Does that happen to you very often?
Oh, all the time. Kindred marks is absolutely number 1 noob baiter. Doesn't matter how much Kindred you play. Like, you see the mark and you have to get it. Like, it's like they have priority in every lane. You're 0-5, but like the mark pings on the wolf. It's like the most difficult mark to get, and it's just like, hold my beer, lads, I'm going in.
It's like old school M5 when their mid laner, Alex Ich at the time, was like C-Hiro, kill hero. No, I think it was Diamond Procs, but it's like C-Mark, kill mark.
But also you get killed though.
Yeah. You don't actually get the mark.
You actually just die.
But we are into game number 1 between these two teams. We might be seeing a cheeky little bit of level 1 shenanigans.
I'm not sure whether Swain thinks he hasn't been seen.
But Series actually gets rooted in.
couple more cleavers. Mundo's one of those champions. You don't really want to tango with him early.
Yeah.
Because as soon as he realizes that you can't kill him, he's chasing you till you flash.
Yeah. And there's just slow after slow, and he does a surprising amount of damage. And he's also one of those champions that, like, he's happy to level the cleaver at level 1. It's not like he has to take... He has to take his CC to, like, go for an invade, things like that. You're a Thresh, and you have to take Hook when you want to start with Flay. Yeah. You're a Maokai, and you don't want to start with the W.
Literally anything else.
Yeah, literally any other ability. But Series, happy to take the cleaver, hits them in the face, and everybody does just walk away.
So Rejuve Bead on the Trundle means that we're probably going to see a Tiamat out of mid-cam early. What that tells me is he's probably looking to either play aggressive or just power farm. Unlikely. Normally with Trundles, with professional Trundles, we'll see like a tank build. Because what they want is to scale into the mid-game, use their ult on the front line, get a nice pillar to start a team fight. But Trundle definitely has propensity to carry with that Tiamat build.
100%. Snowball's incredibly hard. If he gets ahead, he feels very tanky without having to build that way. Steals your resist, stuff like that.
Yep.
Not to mention they do have just an absolute fridge in the top lane of the Ornn. They have a pretty tanky mid laner as well, so they have other tools, so he doesn't necessarily have to be the hard tank.
Neither jungler really opting to go straight for the crab, both trying to do, or not trying, doing one camp in between. Trundle, smart decision out of min-cam. I like that he's...
Ooh!
That's early.
That is very early. He has Flash available. That's the Ignite on the Lulu versus the TP of the Swain, so Combat Summoner heavily in favor of Alpha AM, and he picks himself up the early solo kill.
Making a statement in the first 2 minutes of Game 1. Alpha AM saying, I want that trip to China.
I am the Alpha.
Yeah, there's nothing you can do to stop me. TP will mean that Swain doesn't lose all that much in this lane. But Lulu is definitely one of those champions with a little bit extra gold. She gets that Ardent, or she gets the decap a little bit earlier than normal, and all of a sudden she's a huge problem.
Well, that's the thing. If you're getting a solo kill at 2 minutes into the game, are you even going like Chalice into Athene's like Ardent build, or are you just gonna? Is this gonna be like a Lichbane Lulu?
No, I hate that.
Auto attack on hit.
If you pick Lulu, if you're gonna build damage, pick a champion that does damage. Okay, don't pick a support and then build damage. To me, that is just so daft. Like, you're picking Lulu to buff someone. If you get fed, you can buff them better. I don't want to see Lichbanes on my Lulu.
There's definitely something to be said about how fun, like, on-hit Lulu is. On that big trade, looking for in the bottom lane, but a very nice shield from Vans means that he blocks out the majority of that damage.
That was a ton of, like, I would love to see how much he actually shielded, because I feel like he just shielded a ton of damage.
Yeah, that was Soda Q, power chord from the passive as well, double up from MF, so almost everything. But it's interesting, we are on patch 8.13, of course, as they're just going to keep poking out this bottom lane, so Swain has...
actually damage. They're going to get dove here.
Yeah, Trundle coming in. Brawn passive is on and available, but that's it. They're tanking up the turret. Sona goes down to the back end. Stun lands.
Ooh.
And they get both kills, juggling the aggro fairly well, only losing 1 for 2.
Does he have Triumph? He would have Triumph. Triumph saving the Trundle there.
External.
Unfortunate not to trade.
They're looking for more in the mid lane. He still does have his Flash available, but takes a very hefty chunk. Both junglers getting things done early in this game.
The nice thing about that gank from Kindred is it means now that she's opened up the Wraith camp, which is her mark. This will be the second mark she's gotten already, so she's on track to have a significantly higher number of marks, which is super important on Kindred. When you're not getting the marks, you're still relevant, but just not in the same way. When you're getting that extra attack range, it's just so you just feel so much stronger.
Absolutely, and it's not going to be a Gwinsu's rush out of the MF. We talked about it pre-game. It's actually going lethality, so looking for that all-in damage rather than the on-hit.
I was fed false information by a certain challenger AD carry that I spoke to last night. I was trying to do a little bit of research on these teams, and Ronan the Barbarian, if you're out there, he told me Batty loves to play Gwinsu's Wraithblade MF, and they picked the MF, and I thought, oh.
Well, maybe the build is different, right? Because this is a lethality Dark Harvest. He hasn't gone for the Conqueror like he normally does with the Gwinsus.
Yeah, that is true.
Whole different setup across the board here as Goldly. Of course, kills were traded back and forth. It's no turrets going down. We're only very early into the game. 5 minutes, and we've seen a whole lot of action between these two teams, and Gold fairly even.
No flash on the Sonar. I'd be very interested to see whether or not Kindred opts to go bottom side of the river here. I think that Monash have made it pretty obvious that the priority is now on the middle lane. This is maybe the second or third time he's come mid. But yeah, in New South Wales, they got a lot of damage in that bot lane, but very little mobility.
The External is doing the right thing here, constantly floating towards the top side of the map. They have a lot more vision up there, and I'm not sure where Kindred passed, but if he went from the jungle, which you expect he did, he would have been spotted on that ward. So he has an idea that the Kindred is around this lane. So happy to just let Alpha AM shove this one into the mid lane and try and pick up the rest of the farm. But that might just mean they go bot lane.
That ward does mean that they're going to back out in time. So no gank there for Uni, and he's just going to head back to his golems and try and pick those up. The mark is on the Gromp, and I'm sure he's very upset that his bot lane doesn't have priority yet.
Absolutely. It's a pretty hard bot lane to gank at the Sona MF, unless you get the CC set up initially, because they are very quick. The E from Sona speeds up both of them. MF, if you don't get any damage down early, she just constantly zooms around the map.
Yeah. I mean, it is one of those ones. Kindred has enough. Like, the slow on Kindred, especially if she has a red buff as well, it should definitely be an easy gank, considering she doesn't have flash, but I don't know. They have good wards at the moment, and they're playing with respect. So you can tell that UNSW have played this bot lane before. They know that, you know, when sums are down, you don't always need to poke under tower. You know, they have the advantage already, and they can just wait for Mincam to do some more work. Yeah,
just the slow grind here, poking where they can, but not looking to overextend. Both junglers were pathing, both sitting around the bottom lane. Mincam just based underneath the turret, looking for his Tiamat purchase, but he did finally find Uni. Has not based, but just going back to those camps, so...
Yep, looking for the blue handoff here, and then I imagine Mincam will go into the bot side river. They've got a really good opportunity here to take the dragon. They know that blue buff is spawning soon, and that Kindred might be looking to hand that blue buff off as well. They also have permanent bot priority, so if I'm Mincam, I'm saying, hey guys, let's pick up this mountain. Let's get some numbers on the board.
Yeah, no, you were telling me last night that you are the blue buff theme. The second spawn, you're either doing something on the other side of the map, or you're invading it, stuff like that.
I think it's the easiest. It's the easiest play to make. It's so easy to read.
Exactly where they're going to be.
You know where they're going to be. You know what they're going to do. And yeah, great decision here by Mincam. Gets the bottom side crab spawn as well, which is the icing on the cake.
Yep.
It's that little cherry where, you know, taking dragon
it's
as
the
a
second
jungler,
cherry on the cake.
No, if the cake, like dragon is the cake.
Okay. And then the
crab was the icing, but then I also said it was the cherry. But it's just one of those ones where taking dragon doesn't feel good because you don't get anything out of it. You don't get very much gold. You don't get a ton of XP. You sort of feel like you'd be better off doing camps. Like now he's going to lose his red. He probably knows in the back of his mind that as soon as the dragon sound goes off, Kindred's going to invade. But getting that crab as well sort of massages the pain away a little bit.
Absolutely. Silver linings for Uni on the top side means he does get this red. The mark was up here as well, but he prioritized the buff over the Wraith camp. So he's actually spotted out on this vision right here. So Glup in the top lane does have access to that ultimate.
Know he's on a ward until now.
Do they hit it? Series?
Yeah. He's looking for the mark. Mid lane is also pretty far up. He might bypass the mark and just go straight for the mid gank. But he hit the cone, which is going to tell UNSW exactly where he is. And Mincam takes the mark away and just walks it out. Feels
sad for the Kindred there. Walks up to the camp, hoping it's still around, and a Trundle just chomped that one away. Once again, it is on vision on the top side, as they're definitely looking to make something happen up here. Want to just farm up these camps. Mincam, of course, looking to counter jungle away on the other side of the map.
Flash is now up in the bottom lane, but Sona does have her ult available, so there is room for Sona to catch someone with an ult despite them having flash. You know what I mean? It is a pretty quick cast.
Yep.
And Mincam is looping around, and I'm not sure that Monash know that this is happening. So
well, he is actually, got in behind that. The pillar will come out very soon. Flash ulti lands onto the Kai'Sa. He falls down in very quickly. Vans still has the flash available. Press the attack is procced here. Can he get out without using the summoner?
Oh, Lulu's here though.
Yeah, on the backside, trying to trade back. Swain Root actually lands, and he's going to fall down. Flash ultimate comes out of the MF. Very nice stopwatch. May have just bought enough time. TP's coming in from across the map. This is 5 to 10 members on the screen right here. Kindred ulti on the backside keeps the rest of Monash University alive. The dive still continuing here from UNSW, but ultimately they just back away.
Series has his flash, has the option. Ooh, Kai'Sa ult.
Harry going into the backline. That's the pickup. Can he get more? Series is in cleaver range. The first one will go wide. The briefcase not fat enough here. Baddie pushing out a whole bunch of damage on the backside of that fight, but it is just going to be the extra kill secured by the Kai'Sa.
That was a massive dive. Stopwatch is up means that it's always a little bit risky to go for those extra kills. I feel like Vans, he held on to the flash to the last possible second and baited Mincam in.
Yep.
The Trundle did get away though, and accidentally pathed himself back into the tower, and that's how Lulu got the kill. I think if that hadn't happened, then would have been a much cleaner dive for UNSW, and all of a sudden this bot lane that was winning the game, UNSW find themselves 2k down.
It's super rough there, and that was the proactive play out of UNSW. And I was going to say, this is like a level 6 composition. You have the Sona, you have TP available on the Ornn, so it's a very broadcast play that you want to go for that bot dive. No TPs having to be burnt topside means that they just set that one up. Min Cam, very deep flank, but the reactive play out of this Monash lineup was very good. They have so many defensive tools. Braum, Lulu, and the Kindred underneath that turret, so reacting to the dive very well, and it pays in dividends.
I mean, it was exactly what we were speaking about. Sona flashes forward with the ult, manages to catch Kai'Sa before she can flash away. That means Kai'Sa instantly dies. That was the perfect gank as far as that early gank went. Now Kai'Sa will have no flash for the next one.
Rip back. Never Move does actually land. That's ulti coming out of the Lulu. Ultimate does get burnt by the Trundle. Do they continue the chase? Very low, and he might just fall down to the subjugate. Barely living on the back end.
Always pot, guys. That's why. As soon as you're in combat, pot immediately.
Hit the button.
It will save your life. So he's just used his ult here, and he's hunting Min Cam down, but Trundle wants none of it.
They do just back away. They expended a lot of resources there. Swain still does have his ultimate, but depends a lot more on the soul shards, and Monash brought a whole lot of members towards the mid lane, potentially trying to make something happen, but they don't really have a whole lot of hard engage here. It's a Kindred Mundo flanking. If the Braum isn't in the thick of it, then it's hard to lock someone down, and it might have just cost them first brick on the bottom side of the map.
UNSW bot lane paying their respect again to the lack of vision in the bot side jungle. To be honest, I've been pretty impressed with the way they're playing. They're playing a high pressure bot lane, and they're not getting punished.
And I like to call these like the finesse lanes, right? Like it is hard to play. You have to constantly play on the verge of your limits, right? You have to be getting the damage out to have control of the lane, but you need to backstep immediately at any sign of threat. They've been able to do that more often than not.
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of those ones where you have so much damage that you have to play aggro.
And you really you just want to like fling your damage all the time.
You just want to be shooting, you just want to be making it rain under their turret while they're trying to last hit. But at the same time, you know, no flash on MF, no flash on Sonar. If someone gets on them, there's really not much they can do.
There was definitely a few big points in my career where I was just a spell flinger. Priority didn't mean go and get vision, go and invade and try, get a dragon and objective, stuff like that. Priority was like, we're winning the lane. Like,
and we're
all of my abilities are going into you underneath the turret.
Yeah, I feel like there was a lot of people like that. Me and Choo Choo's, who I played with for a long time, he was a serial under tower poker.
Like a Zed shadow forward underneath the turret.
Like he's got priority, and he doesn't want to invade the jungle with me. He wants to stand under tower and hit you with a shadow E. He's does about 80 damage, but
literally an assassin, just like playing, using his gap blows underneath the turret, looking for that poke.
Yeah, for sure.
That's a disaster there. Air Drake is actually the dragon that spawns, so neither team really going to prioritize that one too highly.
No, but I do imagine that Min Cam will make his way down again. I mean, his bot lane has permanent priority. He is playing the Trundle. It's one of those ones where they're probably not aware that they're down gold. Yes, they got 2 extra kills, but 2 extra kills is not really that much. There's no towers down, so they probably feel like the game is still pretty even. They know they have bot priority. They got 2 pinks in the bot side river and the crab, so I think this is a pretty easy dragon take for him.
They have expended a lot of vision down on the bot side. They've been playing it very well in terms of vision control. In terms of the 2 compositions, I probably favor Monash in terms of the scaling. You have like a hyper-scaling Kai'Sa with a Lulu, Kindred, hard tanks as well, so it is pretty rough for UNSW, I feel like, to be down at this point in the game, because they have the big level 6, they have the Wombo with the Sona, the Ornn, the MF as well, and so they need to really be making things happen in the early game.
The problem with Wombo is that if the enemy team can survive it, you have nothing left.
You
know, once they burn
one-button wonder.
Yeah, once they burn all their ults, you know, this MF is not going to kite them with auto attacks and win a team fight. Whereas on the other side, if Harry and Uni can use Lulu and the Kindred ult to survive, as well as the Braum shield.
Oh, this is going to be all in though. Shield goes up very early to block the ultimate from Sona. Fisher comes out. Very nice flash from Bad. He keeps himself alive, but maintains the heal, but loses almost all of his HP.
Harry saving the ultimate there as well. I feel like he definitely could have moved forwards and ulted aggressively. Maybe didn't have the mana for it, I'm not sure. Yeah,
potentially very defensive MF ulti goes over the wave just to clear that one immediately to secure themselves a base.
Well, they know that they know Min Cam's topside taking the Rift Herald, and it's very dangerous for them to try and hold that turret just with autos. If they get dove, it will be a 3v2. So I think a smart play.
Not to mention the TP is there for the Kai'Sa, so if they don't take that recall then and there, they stick around for another wave. All of a sudden, Harry is back in lane, finishes his Ginsus, and then he has the control, and you really don't find another opportunity. So having to sack the one-time use there to just get back and force a base.
And this is one of those games where one jungler has a significant has the winning jungler matchup. He has a way more aggro jungler, but is really not getting very much done. It's really easy to sort of fall into a pattern of just farming and trying to extend your farm lead when you play a champion like Kindred or Graves or Nidalee, because I don't know, you might be a bit nervous to invade or something's not happening. But the problem is that for the other guy, for the tank,
he's happy with that.
As soon that's exactly the game he wants to play. He doesn't want to invade. He wants to just trade farm with you and scale into the mid game.
Who needs to dodge around the aggressive jungler when they're not
being aggressive?
Yep.
Exactly, and it's something I see so often, particularly in Oceania, in the OPL and the OCS, where players will have a winning jungle matchup, but just nerves or lack of knowledge or whatever it is prevents them from really playing the game they need to play.
But talking about going aggressive here, the ultimate does come out from Glut, but he is incredibly low. Double knock-up on the back end, flash used, but he's going to die anyway.
That's exactly what I was talking about. Well, not quite, but
it was the opposite of what you were talking about. In the bottom lane, though, you're actually going in. Flash burn from Harry. Sona trying to get himself out. Mincam actually arrives to the play pillar. And the TP flanks from either side. Mincam may have just overextended here. Series flash, book, case into the back of the head of the Crumble.
Hits him with the bookcase. Mundo's chasing him up the river. Braumalt comes out. Series going to pick up another one here. No, he gives it over to Harry.
Yeah, very nice teamwork there as Series 3-0 on the Mundo. Gives that kill over to the AD carry. And this entire time, the TPs were burnt onto the bottom side. So Uni gets a whole bunch of damage to the top lane turret.
Shades of Biopanther there. Just 0-0 farming in lane, not much happening, and then goes from 0-0 to 3-0 very quickly.
That's my favorite Twitch meme about Biopanther. It's all about you know what, Chippy's had the stats, blah blah blah, all this sort of stuff. It's like, but Bio, he's got the magic.
No, you know what that is?
I prefer the magic.
That's a Smash copy pasta.
Really?
It's from Melee, yes. About Alex 19. I love that one as well, but I love it because it's from Melee. But it is a good one.
Yeah.
Biopanther definitely has a lot of fans in the Twitch chat.
Yes.
A lot of fans. OCS supporters, they come out in force.
Yeah, true.
They come out in force. They support their guys, which is great to see.
Yep.
It's great to see people.
Support the boys. Yeah, he wears the freshest clothes.
Hangs out with the hottest dudes.
The chillest restaurants.
But it's good. It's good to see people supporting the local talent. I can definitely get around that.
100%, of course. Whilst we were having a bit of a meme there, bottom lane turret did go down. First brick over to Monash, so they're just extending their gold lead. Mincam did solo out the Rift Herald earlier on in the game, so this turret is not long for the world baddie. Putting some auto attacks in, it gets it low enough for Shelly to just pick that one up.
What's your opinion on people using the Rift Herald on towers other than the mid lane?
I mean, it's not objectively bad. It's very contextual. But I think in that instance, that was a very low turret. Maybe he was timing out on the Rift Herald. I didn't quite see the cooldown. He took it a while ago, so may have been timing out, and they don't have a mid lane turret. So external doesn't have priority, so it's hard to get damage. You'd rather get a turret than a chip on the mid lane. If that turret happens to be in the side lane, then maybe it's a better option.
Yeah, I suppose I can agree with that. But at the same time, I feel like
it's just so important.
It's just so important to break that mid tower. When you get a Rift Herald, for me, the mid tower is the one you need to break because it opens up the map for you. Like you said, the side line towers, they will always fall. They will almost always fall. 98% of games, unless it's a perfect game, side towers will almost always fall just to side lane control.
Big ulti comes out from the Sona to try and save Baddie. He does buy enough time. Harry going to clean him up on the back end of that fight, and Monash find themselves another pick.
Bensong gets dove there by Harry, and he's now 4-2-2. He's got the 2-item spike.
It's huge.
Kai'Sa does a lot of damage. Swain Root lands, but not much going to happen here. UNSW, they back off wisely. I know with their main engaged down. I mean, despite that being an awesome Sona ult.
Yep. It was defensive.
Yeah.
Trying to keep the AD carry alive, and he did so at the cost of his own life. And the hard thing is, the Mundo, we talked about, Series now has 3 kills, so he's pressuring the Ornn mid lane. And if your Sona dies, then you don't have the Ornn that can freely rotate to the top side to be your engage. So without that CC being available, then it's hard for Baddie, it's hard for External and Mincam to get access to the fight and make things happen.
This game is quickly becoming out of reach for UNSW. They're falling further and further behind. With every objective they lose. They're also losing a kill as well, which is not a good way to trade.
Now, I am of the opinion that you said maybe getting out of reach, so you didn't call the game just yet, but Baron hasn't even spawned, and we haven't seen a team try and do Baron.
Are you sure, Bryce?
And there is...
What time does Baron spawn?
Well, Baron just spawned. It literally spawned. Well, I wanted to make that point, and you were talking, I was waiting for you to end. And Baron has spawned, okay? It's up on the map, and Monash are actually going to go for it.
Yep.
But I have seen many teams, including many of your own teams, completely screw a game plan around the Baron.
Yes.
So there's definitely potential. Maybe this is not going to be it, because it's just dying very quickly.
I mean, they have a very fast Baron side. Kindred does a ton of damage.
Yep.
Kaiser does a ton of damage. Lulu's also there to buff them both. They also had a 6k gold lead by the time the Baron spawned. So as far as Baron goes, that's a pretty safe one.
Yep. And they did the right things. They have the vision control, completely controlling top side of the map. Triple pinks in the river. UNSW, even if they were around, it would have been very hard to contest. They have a dashless jungler without flash to even get over the back of the wall. So in terms of Mincam, trying to get a 50-50 despite being down in level would have been even rougher there. So UNSW ultimately give that one away, and Monash continuing the push on the top side.
Yeah, I mean, this is sort of just come out of nowhere, to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like 1 second we were commentating on the bot lane, like that the fact that UNSW constantly had bot priority and that they were stacking dragons and all that good stuff, and then all of a sudden,
that one dive turned it around.
Yeah, as soon as they switched lanes, Monash just completely blew this game out. So potentially better macro knowledge. Very
nice pillar though from Mincam. Knockup comes from Glufify. Big team fight breaking out. Swain goes into that ascended form. Huge ultimate from the MF lands onto everybody. Uni trying to keep Monash University alive at the back end.
What a turnaround.
UNSW just cleaned the fight.
How on earth?
What? That was massive. That's the Wombo comp. You know, you were calling like Monash are winning the game. They have this gold lead. They have the Baron, but it's a 5 versus 0.
I mean,
clean up for UNSW.
I mean, as far as I was concerned, this game was done. It was wrapped up. They cooked it. Harry, he gets caught with a fantastic pillar into MF ult. He uses his stealth to kite away from Kindred, which means that the Kindred ult didn't come down until way too late. You saw that 2 members instantly got popped before Kindred could even put an ult down. Amazing wombo, but at the same time, I feel like all of Monash just died with their flashes up, and that's a bit of a problem.
You say all of them? It's like most. It's no, literally
every single one of them has flash, and they somehow got wombo comboed. So I feel like potentially a little bit of missed micro, but absolutely massive play out of UNSW there.
100%. May have just got themselves back into the game. We're still fairly early, only 22 minutes. The Baron went down straight on its spawn, so...
But this MF is going to go home, and Baddy's going to pick himself up probably his second completed item. I imagine he just got a truck ton of gold there. And yeah, there's the Stormrazor. So this MF is... It's going to be bringing the pain.
Absolutely. They get 2 turrets. They get an Air Drake. Kind of unlucky at this point that it wasn't something like the Infernal for a composition with this Wombo. If you can boost up MF's damage, you can get the Sona, the Swain, things like that, your Wombo is even more effective. But Air Drake, you know, I was going to say it's not the worst, but it's probably the worst dragon. But it's better than
probably
nothing.
Literally the worst. But you know what? I'm not going to call you on it. Despite just calling you on it.
That's the difference between you and Jake. Because I'd say it's not the worst, and then Jake would just be like, Bryce, what's the worst dragon? He'd make me say it like on broadcast, recorded immediately. So
it's all right, man. Everyone makes mistakes.
Thanks, man.
Look, big positive for UNSW is that because Monash didn't flash, they didn't have to flash either. And Sona still has her flash engage.
We have 10 flashes up available.
Swain can still flash forwards, and actually, no, his stopwatch is used. I thought he had the Zhonya's, but no Zhonya's for the next one. So that is going to be a bit of an issue, but he does have flash to flash forwards with the Demonic Ascension.
We do have to take a note of the builds. We haven't talked about it too much. It is actually the Lichbane Lulu. Has gone for Ludens into Lichbane.
You know what? If he had Arden Athenes, Kai'Sa would have lived.
Would have killed everyone.
And she would have killed them all. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. Instead he's just
he's
like with his little stuff, like, auto attack. Are you seeing it, guys? Am I doing it? Am I carrying? Whoa, like, just pick Syndra, bro. Like, please. Like, it's disgusting.
But other interesting builds coming out from this way, and you mentioned the stopwatch. Traditionally, you see something like the Rod of Ages into the Zhonya straight away. He's actually gone for more damage, gone for that ramp-up time over the team fight. The new Ludens scales up every 2% in combat, up to the 10%. So if External can get into the backline and he can live without the Zhonyas, then maybe that's very good. Mate, look, maybe that's an answer into something like the Kindred.
Yes,
he knows
exactly.
Going into Lamb's Respite, like he will be able to fully stack that one. And
you've stolen my follow-up, which was... I was going to say, I feel like he hasn't actually thought about it. I feel like that's a bit too deep.
You're going to take it away from him?
Yeah, I feel like it's a bit too deep for him to be like, yeah, I'm going to build Leandri's because it's going to work really well with Kindred ult. But I do feel like it is going to work really well with this Kindred ult. If he can stand on top of it, because the thing is, if he's not dying and he's still healing with the ult, he definitely has the potential to turn a team fight. And I feel like, yeah, getting those max Leandri stacks... So
what you're saying...
It's a good way to deal with the Mundo also.
Is where the English teachers that is like, the curtains are blue, like it's really solemn.
Such
a sad time, and you're like, hey, miss, the curtains are just bloody blue.
Yeah,
I reckon he likes
there's
the
like an
colour
interview
blue.
with the author,
Yeah.
and it's like, did you make the gate red to like signify like
anger
the passion he had for his home? And the guy's like, nah, like I just had a red fence when I was growing up, and I like the color red, I guess.
But Teamfight is actually breaking out. Sona ulting onto multiple people, but this time Uni saves the day from MF. UNSW continuing the fight. External does so much damage, but once again does actually live on the backside.
At the same time, though, Mundo was just in the middle lane, so didn't have the TP there.
Yep.
They just got engaged on by a Sona ult without flash. Seri's doing his best Fiora impersonation
on the Mundo.
But he's just buying Mundo.
Look, I'm not gonna...
he's gonna get it, though.
He might.
He might die for it afterwards.
He's just ignoring the Ornn right now. Mundo is probably the
Does have
ugliest
flash.
Fiora I've ever seen. Doesn't use it because he's between 3 members, so ultimately he does fall down.
Yep.
But that was Monash being aggressive in the bottom side. Maybe overstepping up towards the turret. They want to extend that gold lead. They don't have the Baron buff available, so they weren't able to push that.
The thing with Ornn is that despite him being in the middle lane, so from Monash's perspective, you know, Mundo was holding the Ornn, so this is probably a 4v4, so we can afford to push here. But at the same time, Ornn's engage range is just so long that it's very easy for him to just cheat in the fog, and 2 seconds later, he's got a max range Ornn ult across the team.
Yeah. That's the difference between Mundo and Ornn being able to get to a fight. Mundo takes 12, 15 seconds to walk there, and Ornn...
Cleaver's not that long.
Ornn takes 2 steps and is like, yo, what up? Pulls out the horn and demolishes everyone. But UNSW doing very well to win themselves another fight despite being significantly down in gold. It's 6,000.
Yeah, they just keep winning these team fights. And like you said, this is... I mean, you spoke about UNSW having a finesse bot lane, and I feel like Monash sort of have a finesse team comp. They have 2 AD carries with 2 supports and a tank that has no engage. It's pretty difficult for them to start a team fight other than just outranging them with auto attacks.
It's interesting that we've got like a 2 AD carry, 2 support team comp, and it's not a funnel. In like 2018, you're like, it's not like Morgana bottom lane with a Braum jungle. It's like you've actually got a standard team comp, but you have 2 supports. I'll like, in quotation marks, call Lulu a support because she did go Luden's Lich-Bane.
I was going to say, it's like it's a funnel where the support actually didn't want to funnel.
Yeah.
So it's like, hey,
it's like
you're in like solo queue and you're like, talk to the jungle, you're like, hey bro, do you want to funnel this game? And he's like, oh, not really. He's like, come on, I'm like, if we funnel, I promise we win. I'm really good at Kai'Sa. And he's like, all right, fine, like I'll play Braum or something. Like, well, we've got a team fight, so let's maybe let's talk about
Monash actually
just gets one shot.
Oh, that's a big ultimate though. Kindred ulting is fairly late, but Stopwatch will keep the Lulu alive in the backside. The heal comes out into multiple people. That's all of the ultimate.
Oh, that double up was huge onto Uni.
But Uni incredibly low. Very nice block from Vans.
Harry's in the back line.
Harry looking for the play, but he uses the stopwatch to barely live. Ben Song just keeping Batty alive for just so long. UNSW might have just done it again, turning around this fight. Pillar locks Monash against the wall. Vans flashes into it and goes absolutely nowhere. Somehow Monash 3 times in a row gold lead into team fights, and UNSW pick up the win.
Luke with the absolute hero play there. 3v1, he was holding up the Kindred, the Lulu, and the Braum, while Harry's trying to do the same thing on the backline, but unfortunately Kai'Sa, he's just not tanking enough. And Gloop, I think I think he's carrying. Like, this Mundo is just almost irrelevant. Like, he has a Thorn Mail. He's so strong. He's so tanky. He has a Thorn Mail. He's got Spirit. Like, he's insanely... but no one's auto-attacking him. No one cares.
They don't have auto-attackers.
No, they've got Trundle. Trundle just ults him, and then MF just lets it rain anyway. And he's just getting shredded at the moment. So, definitely something to be said for ease of execution on the UNSW side.
That's my point. Every single week, talking about ease of execution. You pick CC, you land CC, and you win.
Because, look, I'm going to say it again. The solo lanes from Monash, despite being up in gold, have been irrelevant.
Oh, that's so
pretty
lucky.
much. I'm an absolute guy. I'm an absolute guy. Look, what have they done in team fights? Really, they're just support. Like all I've seen from Lulu was like ults, shields, the speeds, what you would normally see.
What else has she got to do? All she's got is ults.
Use her Lich-Bane. Use her Lich-Bane. Get up there, get it in their face with the picks and the glitter lances, and I don't know. Whatever that build is supposed to do, Zonya's on them. Like, you know what I mean? They're playing it like it's a support comp, but Mundo, he's just not relevant in these team fights because no one's actually auto-attacking him. Lulu has gone the carry build, but she's also not able to do any damage because MF is standing 10 kilometers away, shooting with her 2 hand cannons, and Swain is just in the middle healing. He's now got his Zonyas. He's just standing in that Kindred ult. yeah, it feels like there's really just nothing they can do,
and
despite being so far ahead in gold.
Yeah, that's the thing. They're still 4,000 down, despite picking up that Baron buff. They now actually invest into the potion. Swain's just going to pop the Elixir of Sorcery there, so investing into power right now. UNSW, despite being behind for the majority of the game, might just be looking for the win here. They have ultimates up and available. Turret goes incredibly low very quickly. That's just one single wave. The cannon is buffed up by the Baron, still damaging it. Nobody can get in range. Harry now looking for a bit of a play, but big root from the Swain. Huge ultimate from Ben Song on the Sona. Blows up everyone, and UNSW have done it.
What an insane Sona ult. It just hits, tags a Kindred with it. No Kindred ult able to come out to counter that MF. And Ben Song, I mean, he was 0-4-1 in lane phase or something. Like, he was just feeding his face off. But comes up absolutely huge towards the end of the fight. 2-4-19. Huge performance out of him. 10 stacks on the ring. He has the Athenes. He has the Ardent. He knows how support works. And against all odds, they're still down in gold by 500, and UNSW won.
They won the game down in gold. That is absolutely incredible. Huge turnaround.
What a game.
I love that.
That was exciting.
That was.
Let's have a couple more games like that, please.
Going into every team fight, you're like, yeah, Monash.
Yeah, they're just so fair.
Man, they're so big.
Kindred ult, Lulu, like, what can they do? Like, they just can't kill him. Like, Kindred ult counters literally their entire team comp, but apparently not.
Apparently Sona is
apparently
OP.
Not.
Our producer, who's in my ear right now, big Sona player, by the way, so he's going to be very happy with what actually just transpired. Yeah, you know, just in lane, you hit the Q, you hit the W, you hit the E.
Why am I still in bronze?
You're a very harsh critic here. That's pretty rough. But yes, talking about that game of an overall perspective, UNSW did so well to turn it around. Fell behind fairly early. It looked like Monash were going to take away with the win, but every single team fight they were just able to execute.
I feel like the Monash mid game macro was just way better. You know, when they were trading for tower and a kill, or they were trading, you know, they took Baron for free, essentially.
Yep. Yeah, they did.
I feel like the mid-game macro from Monash was way, way better, but they couldn't buy themselves a team fight. They just couldn't win one, no matter what.
What is the amount of gold that buys you a team fight win?
How much?
Monash?
Because they had 10K to spend. They had 10 grand to spend on a team fight win, and they still couldn't get it.
They couldn't get that. Is super unlucky, but that does mean UNSW go 1-0 up in the series. We'll be here after a 10-minute break with game number 2. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, everyone. We just witnessed an absolute banger of a game, number one. Super interesting. Not the expected result. Monash climbing to a big lead early, but UNSW came back with a W.
Yeah, they certainly did.
That really worked out.
Yeah, they certainly did. The Lions off to a roaring 0-1 lead.
You can't do that if you can't make a straight face while you do it.
Why not? I guess I did do it.
Yeah, you just proved me wrong. You absolutely
yeah, no, 0-1. I mean, I didn't really have a favorite before the game, so for me, it's not like an unexpected result.
Who's your favorite now?
I don't know. Monash, I still believe Monash looked like the better team despite not being able to win a team fight throughout that game. So I think, maybe with an easier to play comp and the same sort of macro, I feel like they should be able to.
Yeah, because they absolutely did have control after early game. Like they had a few early ganks, they found themselves with a lead, and they even turned around like a big play. UNSW looked for that bot lane dive, and they played that incredibly well. But from that point onwards, it was just downhill every time there was 10 members on the screen, and they just could not execute, of course. We're going into game number 2. That means that the sides are switched, so we're going to have some different drafts here. Like we saw some pretty interesting stuff, like an MF Sona, we saw a Kindred.
Yep. Curious to see how the meta in this series develops. You know, every best of 5 has its own meta. The players sort of figuring out what's working and what's not and what they're comfortable on that day. I mean, yes, I feel like there's not really much to take from that game. Like, if you're UNSW, it's like, yeah, okay, MF Sona, the ult seemed really good. Ornn, Engage. I think Ornn would be probably the big takeaway for me. Ornn Engage was really, really strong. But if I'm UNSW, I'm sort of thinking like, well, if we fall that far behind again, maybe next time we won't get so lucky with all the team fights. Maybe, you know what I mean? Like, you don't want to be... Being 10k gold down is not a position you really want to be in, even if you've just won a game from 10k gold down.
Do Monash just now go to, like, heavy extreme series on Fiora? Like, look, we cannot win team fights. It's not going to work. Do they just go hardcore split push?
Maybe. I don't know if Series has a Fiora. I feel like he's definitely, like, the fighter player. Like,
he was playing Mundo, and you're, like, doing his... If that's his Fiora splitting in the mid lane... Then,
maybe, but he's definitely more like a bruiser guy. Like, he likes the Renekton's, the Kleds, the, I don't know, Darius, those sorts of champions, more than, like, the pure split push carrier.
The Fiora, stuff like that.
Yeah, so
Jax kind of sits
Jax is sort of in the middle. His ultimate, if he didn't have his ult, he would be like Fiora.
Yeah.
If he had a different ult, like if his ult didn't just make him extremely tanky for no reason.
Click a button and could just 1v5. So super unlucky.
If that wasn't the case, then he'd probably be closer to Fiora, but... I don't expect that we'll see that. Rengar ban coming out again, as well as Fiddlesticks Nocturne Talon. Those are also bans that we saw in the last series.
Yep, and that's going to be the one switch up here, the Kai'Sa.
Yeah,
Harry had a very good game on that champion.
Yeah, he did. They obviously think Kai'Sa is super strong. They want to play it, but also they're scared to play against it. I'm not sure where that comes from.
Just respecting their opponents. They think it's a power pick in general, not that they're the only ones that can play it. Morgana. Big power pick that often gets banned away, we talked about funnels in game number 1 in Champ Select. We never really got one.
Nope.
Curious to see if we do game number 2 through 5, if we get there, but Morgana definitely kind of sells herself to standard or funnel, whatever you want to do. Very flexible.
Yep. Morgana, yeah, she's just, she plays support, very strong support, very strong as the carry bot lane as well.
That was the weirdest thing for me. When Korea, like SKT, just start playing like Morgana ADC. Like when it first started, everyone's playing bruisers in the bottom lane and Swain and stuff.
Yeah, it was all double bruiser, like
like
Yasuo and like Darius.
And then in one series, they picked like Bang is playing Morgana and then Soraka, and I'm just like, oh no, like what has happened? This is disgusting.
That's a bit spicy.
Yes, it absolutely is. Kindred and a Thresh lock-in.
Going back to the Kindred, I like the confidence. Sometimes it's sort of, it might be that he feels like Kindred's his best champion and that game, maybe he was just warming up. But at the same time, I feel like you've got to be very careful with picking champions when you don't play poorly and still can't win.
Ah, okay.
Right? So if you play Kindred and, like, if you're playing a champion and you've gone 0-2 during lane phase, and like due to like a dive or like a gank or like, you know what I mean? Something that's not entirely in your control, then it's like, no, this champion still works. It was just a bad game. But when you have a good game and then you don't win, that's when I think it's time to have a hard look at what you're playing and why you're playing it. Because if you can't win on a good performance, what are you going to win on?
You got to mix things up, and we have some very spicy next picks. We do need to say that Kindred ulti was very good at times into the Wombo. There were team fights where Swain was going in and Kindred was blocking a lot of that damage, but unfortunately didn't get them the win. The MF, of course, is picked back up here in the bottom lane for UNSW, but that's an Aurelion Sol.
Alpha AM,
Yep.
well known in Oceanic solo queue for being an Aurelion Sol player. So keen to see this out of him. Asol's one of those champions
So
where
weird.
when you play him well, he can have such a huge impact. You know, level 2 ganks, mid lane roaming to bot, or you know, level 6 with the ultimate, hitting a big stun on a top laner or invading the jungle. Very good for like crab control, stuff like that. So if you're a good Asol, it's definitely a strong champion to have in your wheelhouse of picks.
Because it's one of those champions that always gets banned away. Like, because very few people can play it. So it's like when you play against a player that can, it's something in the back of your mind constantly. Like, it's not even about the meta. It's like, oh, does this champion lose to Asol? Do we have to expend a ban? Of course, UNSW don't ban it away, so it will get picked up. And I really like pairing it with something like the Kindred that wants to get those marks down early. Asol is one of those mid laners that just perma push, perma priority. You mentioned his ability to skirmish in the jungle can help out a Kindred very early on.
Doesn't scale very well though. That is the one thing. And you know, Monash, last game in the late game didn't go so hot, so maybe this time they're thinking, look, if we get a lead, we want to just execute on the lead straight away. We want to make this as fast as possible because last game we got a lead and teamfights didn't go our way. So,
but this time it does mean that UNSW haven't actually locked themselves in a jungler just yet.
Bot Vlad or top Vlad? What do you reckon?
Bot Vlad or top Vlad? Top Vlad.
You reckon?
Oh.
Vlad Thresh seems not good.
Yeah, I think it's just straight flex Vlad because the Swain lock-in. And you don't know where Swain's going just yet.
Good point.
But now we do know where Swain's going.
It's going to be a Cho'Gath top. Ornn Mundo bans. I like that out of Monash. I feel like Glup had a big impact in the last game. Mundo's just one of the champions who can take over a game. And Ornn, just the engage is just so strong. So, like those bans.
Kane.
Okay.
Haven't seen him in a long time. Very hit and miss as a jungler, you know? Like, if he falls behind, struggles to get back on because he really comes online with that transformation. You have to get there before you really find your usefulness.
His usefulness is a good word because he is absolutely useless before he transforms. Garbage champion.
That's your just hard and fast opinion, straight up. But Aatrox didn't get banned away yesterday and the day before.
Aatrox is so broken.
I was casting OPL and every single game Aatrox got banned away. But this time it was literally
the last pick.
That's 10 bans that came through and nobody hit him to the bench. So
is Glup actually a top laner or has he role swapped for his uni team?
I don't know.
I feel like he's not.
I think he's not a top laner. I feel like I've seen him play more support than anything else. But
there's a lot of... I mean, that is something that, you got to consider for uni teams is like...
There's less of a player pool, so you got to mix and match.
You need to find the 5 best players and sort of just see what works. You're not always going to be able to put everyone on their main roles. It might be one of those things where Glup just can't play the Aatrox, but they were sort of hoping that maybe Ceres couldn't either. But like we were talking about, Aatrox is exactly the sort of champion that Ceres would like to play, a bruiser.
Yeah, that's the thing. So it's interesting that they let that one go all the way through. I feel like Cho'Gath as a matchup is probably going to struggle against something like the Aatrox. Sure, he has sustain, he has good push, but Aatrox just wants to bully the melee range bruisers into the tanks. We saw at Rift Rivals, and just ever since we've seen this reworked Aatrox, anyone that has to farm inside the wave just cops Q after Q, and Aatrox runs away with it.
Sort of one of those ones where, with items, he can hold him, but it's a race to get farm. So if Cho'Gath gets a cheeky kill from somewhere, or if he's allowed to farm 100 CS without dying, he can definitely hold him once he has the Tarbis and the Catalyst and the Bramble Vest. Like, that's a really difficult build to kill. But that's a 3-item spike necessary just to survive lane phase. I feel like this is absolutely in Aatrox's favor, and we're going to have to see a pretty good performance out of both Glup and Mincam.
Not to mention the Cho'Gath, if he's ever going to be able to kill the Aatrox, like, has to get through. And Cho'Gath has that one-time burst, right?
He can't, right? How could he?
Like, you just hit him with the ultimate, and then there's no way you can kill him through that revive. As we are into game number 2 once again. It's going to be the blue side opting in for a cheeky little bit of an invade. Uni on the Kindred.
This is, and UNSW have now invaded this same part of the river from both sides. And neither time has it gotten them anything.
They landed, never moved last time. Are they going to get it this time?
Curious whether they do it next game. I'll be watching out for it.
But the most interesting thing is we were having a little conversation about in terms of putting players where they need to go based on, like, there's a smaller pool. Very interesting that Vans is now not actually playing support. He was the Braum last game, and Harry was the Kai'Sa. And now they flipped it up. The support is actually the quote-unquote AD carry player.
Well, maybe they're going to give the farm to the Thresh. He does have Ignite.
Maybe the Doran Shield Vladimir is giving the farm to the Coin Thresh.
Could be.
Yeah, good strat, dude. Real nice. That sounds incredible.
I wonder whether it is because Harry's a really good Thresh or Vans is a really good Vlad.
Let's have a bet right now. Which is it?
I feel like I've seen Harry play Thresh.
Yes, I wanted that side of the bet. Why did I let you go first? That's a disaster.
Here we see Asol doing what Asol does best, which is shoving in the first lane in about half a second.
Yeah, nothing. He killed all 6 minions before External
5.
killed 1. 5?
Or he missed a creep.
Oh. Well, he killed all 6.
Well,
but
he killed it because
didn't.
he missed it.
If
he was the one who killed it, he would have got it.
Okay, shut the hell up.
What do you mean? Creep killed it.
What a technicality to call me out on. Well done. That's all right, but junglers.
But you see here the power of the Asol. Kindred has absolutely no worries about running straight to this blue buff because he knows that there's no way Swain's going to be able to follow up. Smites it away. Mincam's angry. He's got the angry chase. He knows there's no way he can kill this Kindred, but he's looking for her anyway.
But top priority for the Cho'Gath does actually float down the river.
No, he doesn't have priority.
Is going to go over to Mincam. But
yeah, there's no way he can get this crab. I mean, he might have had like 1 or 2 creeps pushing, but as soon as he walks away,
he loses it
immediately, and then he has to go back. And this Asol is just... you just can't contest these crabs early, so a bit of wasted time from Mincam. Meanwhile, Batty is just absolutely giving it to Harry at the moment.
Incredibly low. You know my least favorite thing about Kayn?
What?
I'm a character inking guy. And when he stands in a bush, he doesn't have character inking. He doesn't have the black outline on the champion. It looks so ugly.
He looks like he's part of the scenery.
Yeah, he just blends in.
Like he's one of those what do they call it? Eye candy?
Oh, like a...
He's part of the eye candy.
Yeah, like you can turn him off in interface.
You can turn him off in
the
options, like turn off Kayn. I don't want to see his ugly ass.
I feel like level 1 you do turn off Kayn until he gets his strength. 4v5. Like,
level 9, when you hear that noise, like...
He's off. And then he comes back.
Well, here he comes, though.
The Kayn, though, knock-up lands from Glup, and that's going to be the very easy kill onto Series. Has the flash and doesn't choose to use it. Would have died anyway.
Well, he got silenced. Glup lands silence into the knock-up, which was...
the perfect combo.
Yeah, the perfect... I mean, you don't really... I feel like if that really combos, why don't I see it more often? You know what I mean?
Silence into knock-up.
Yeah.
You see that all the time.
Do you?
Yes. That is the combo.
Okay.
I cast that every weekend. I
don't know what to tell you, friend.
Anytime you see the Cho'Gath, because you don't want them to flash out, you don't want them to dash out. You see it a lot against AD carries. Hook does land, it breaks the shield, but because Spell Shield blocks the flay, he doesn't get ripped back. Ben's Song actually just gets out with the E button, and Harry burnt the flash.
Big swing, no ding out of Harry there. He lands it, but unfortunately versus Morgana, that means very little.
I wonder if he's going to be like a put points in Flay Thresh. Actually, Hook lands this time. Black Shield not off cooldown. Vans gets a nice little trade with the Electrocute, so trades back a whole bunch of HP.
But all sums still up on the side of UNSW. They also have the heal on MF. They're not running TP, so very difficult for Monash to win an all-in here, I think.
Harry is incredibly low. Actually, just steps straight up. Doesn't have the flash available. Flash Ignite from the Morgana picks up a very easy kill. He just overextended, wanted that soul, wanted the coin, and walks forward to his death.
Yeah, like Kindred and her marks, threshing his souls. Just gets new trapped and and loses his life for it. Harry, first game on the Thresh, first game as support. Not looking so hot.
I think we both betted that it was because Harry's like the Thresh monster. And he dies in the bottom lane very early.
Meanwhile, Vans is like, she'll let me play Thresh, bro.
He's like, my brawl was pretty good. I can play Thresh. Can't be that hard. This is a very different start. This is 2 kills going over very early for UNSW. Series on the Aatrox, down a level.
Darkstar Cho'Gath. I haven't actually seen this yet.
Is this the brand new one?
Yeah.
This is the brand new one, you know. All proceeds go to charity.
Really?
Yeah, you know, Shiania, it's Headspace, because we had the cheeky Headspace round.
Oh.
And, yeah, it's a super cool skin. It's the first time we get to see it.
You know, I thought it was going to be like some sort of space charity.
Like...
It's like Darkstar Cho'Gath.
Give you proceeds to, like, NASA and, like, fund a rocket. Or, like, what's a space charity?
I don't know.
What is a space charity?
Send sick kids into space.
That's that's not what happens. It actually goes to a good cause. So
no, so that's good. It's good that they don't send sick kids into space.
Yes,
that'd be a horrible use of money.
Probably is. Probably is. There's these two players are trying to battle it out. Series is down the level, so despite being on the Aatrox, is just struggling to get things done, just trying to hold up in farm. Harry, despite falling down early, finds himself with a little bit of priority to walk up towards the river, get himself a mark, but that does mean Vance just sits underneath his turret, trying to pick up the rest of the wave.
Yeah, very fortunate that Mincam got that kill as well, because Uni has gotten every crab so far. He's also ahead in CS, but at the same time is down a level. So Mincam is revisiting the top side, but he doesn't do nowhere near enough damage on his own, and he might actually fall down here.
Looking for the 1 versus 2 there. This is the pre-transform. Kane goes in. W does absolutely nothing. No knock-up or can't cast it. What's the other? Like, you can't cast the abilities.
While
like,
moving,
you cast them
and it does
moving.
bonus damage.
Yep.
So the ratio's higher, and you can cast it while moving.
The assassination potential. So
Assassin is by far the superior transform, by the way.
In terms of fun factor or good factor?
Both.
That was not a convincing both.
Okay.
There was a definite pause.
There's something just so satisfying about just like walking past, Wing the ground, and like just one-shotting the ADC. Yeah. Whereas the green one, the transform, Kane is just a tank. Who wants to play those?
Finding or rip back from the Swain does actually land onto Uni here.
Ooh,
He's level 6, but the star from ASOL goes a little bit wide there. Lantern actually gets clicked by Uni, so Alpha Am has to walk away.
Yeah.
Ultimates burn on both sides, but nobody dies.
No mana for the ASOL because he'd actually, I think, just spent it all pushing the mid lane in. So
hasn't based for a long time. He's sitting on a big chunk of gold here. That might have just been the all-in. The ulti gets popped incredibly late, but Glut might be in a bit of a trouble here. Flash is available from both sides of these top laners, but they do just walk away.
Maybe the bit of trouble, not so large after all.
Bit of a trouble, actually was my choice of words.
But Series unable to cast the ult because he was silenced. Yep. That was a pretty nice play out of Glup, actually. I was thinking during the loading screen, I was thinking about this matchup, like, there's no way he could ever feast him, right? Because Series will always ult before they all in, but if Series is low enough, if he's about half health and he's low enough to get silence chomps, then there definitely is the potential for Cho'Gath to solo kill here.
It becomes that mind game of like Series has to pop it early, but if you pop it too early, Glop's just going to go in and then walks away, and then you've wasted your ulti. Hook, very close to landing there. Harry sitting in an unwatered bush trying to find access to the Misfortune. Unfortunately does not.
Yes, I think Stopwatch now online for the Vlad, so the combat potential in this bottom lane a little bit higher, I think, for Monash, but at the same time, like, Vlad Thresh just seems so bad. Like, even if he hits a hook, it's into Morg. Vlad has heal. I mean, Vlad has TP, they have heal. Like,
I feel like if a hook, like,
just really feel like you can't do anything.
This matchup for me is like if the hook lands, then yes, you can actually all in. Like, it has to land before the Morg shield, but
you have to all in.
Yeah,
like that's but you might not win it.
But it's non-committal though.
Is it?
Yeah, because you just throw out a hook. Binding actually I think get pulled by Vance. So
you got hit by that, it's pretty disappointing.
Scuttle Crab spawns on the bottom side of the map. Kindred fighting over that one with the Cane.
Got him.
Pink Ward, a little bit of a fight here. Mincam wants the Scuttle Crab. He wants to deny the mark, but because the Aurelion Soul in the mid lane has permanent priority, bot lane is fairly even, really struggles to get access to the river, so...
He's also just weaker straight up in the 1v1.
Oh.
Harry's been tagged there.
Here we go, Mincam getting himself another gank. He's level 6, so the ulti comes through. That's the first kill picked up.
ASOL's on his way down though with Kindred.
Does not have flash, pulls incredibly late. He's very low. Binding. Stopwatch to the last second. Bad, he walked into the tower to try and get the kill, but this is the flank from the Aurelion Soul and the Kindred Uni doing so much damage on the backside, and Monash bite back.
I feel like we've seen this story somewhere before.
Yeah.
UNSW trying to go for huge bot dives, and it just doesn't work out. The early priority on the ASOL, which we spoke about, the Kindred, who they knew was bot side river, getting the crab, that means that move speed boost for those two, they rotate even faster, and they just clean up 2 easy kills, and this looks like it might be first brick.
And it's one of those ganks that you have to be in and you have to be out immediately. You go in, get the kill, and leave before they can rotate. They didn't actually have the tempo, so it was kind of like cheating a gank where you shouldn't really be able to go for it. So
you're trying to sneak one in before they realize what's going on.
As soon as they stick around for just too long, then they can't get to the play. External walking back, pops the ulti there, ascends into his demon bird form, and rips back the Thresh. That's no flash on Harry here. Mincam coming in. Does not have access to the ulti,
he has the transform as well. So.
Is he very low? Hook lands onto Mincam. Doesn't have ulti to dodge out, so Harry, very nice, barely lives on the back end.
That was a clincher from Harry. Aftershock saves him. Aftershock, such a broken mastery. Gives you like, what is it, like 80 or 90 resist. Armor and MR like level 1, which is just absolutely ridiculous. So yeah, manages to hang on by the skin of his teeth there, and what looked like a pretty suspect play actually works out in his advantage. Yeah, it looked like External may have just been going down. You know, Hook was wide, but that's the boots picked up very early for the Thresh, so he closed the distance. External had no choice but to go back in. Yep.
I feel like it bodes very well for UNSW that Mincam has been able to pick up 2 kills, had a lot of early action in the early game to get towards his transform.
Absolutely. Like a 10-minute transform is quite good. That's definitely like par for the course. So huge for him. He went the ranged transform, which, like I said, is definitely more fun. Whether it's the optimal one, good. I also said more. I said good is fun. Fun is good. It definitely does a lot more damage, and it might be. I mean, it has its place, right? He's probably going to build lethality. He's probably going to look for those one-shot for burst. But again, I mean, they have a revived top laner. They have a jungler who has a
invulnerability
ult.
Vlad has
Vlad has his pull. He has his ult healing.
Thresh has
Aatrox is just so fast. He's got to build defense items. As much as I prefer this, I feel like this is not the one.
You're just like speaking it, like running through the logic as you
all the
speak,
reasons
like,
it's not good, and then but I am glad he went assassin.
But it's fun though.
Yeah, it is way more fun.
It is real fun. Struggling to hit the eye there. Just going to try and solo out the Rift Herald. Mincam is
he's not about kiting. He's definitely about tanking damage.
Yes.
He's definitely a base tank jungler. I mean, I guess he has double fruit there, so he knows he can just
more. One of the wait. Okay. Oh, that's a little bit
of a weird one.
Turret very low. They're going for this play. Black Shield out and popped very early. Very nice predict. Glup is here with a TP. Double knock up, but everyone coming to the party now. Kane's still in the mid lane. Lamb's respite goes a little bit wide, but Monash get back into the play. Harry very low over the wall, looking for another hook, but huge play out of External goes in. The turnaround from Monash once again. This is now a 4 versus 1 against the Morgana, and everybody gets wiped.
Massive team fight in the bottom lane. This bottom lane is just a danger zone for UNSW. Every time they come down here, something bad happens. Mincam did have the Herald, has managed to pick up that mid tower, so that's actually a pretty good answer, but at the same time, losing 4 kills for 1 and the bottom tower. This is a 3-1-3 Kindred now. Asol's got his rower. He has the stopwatch as well. This is
a bit rough.
Well, I mean, this is 2 towers, actually.
Does he actually get the second one? Does he stick around Shelly?
A lot of creeps.
Can he get another auto attack?
There's a lot of creeps.
Alpha Am's going to hit it. I don't think it's going to go down. The range creeps will be dying to the Asol.
Oh, that is... Yes. What is the health on that? That's got to be double. That's got to be single-digit health, surely.
That's very low, and not to mention Vladimir was the recipient of a lot of those kills.
Yeah,
right?
It's got the Spellbinder and another blasting one. This is a massive Vladimir.
He's one of those champions. Actually has the Electrocute as well, so going for the straight damage build. Didn't go for the phase rush or the Predator to get in. No. He just wants straight up damage.
Yep. Well,
working on his death cap, his Zonyas, stuff like that. When he gets there, he gets to those items, can definitely tear apart a game.
Here he goes.
He's looking for the play, baddie. Flashless does have heal. Uni comes over the wall. They can't get
so fast.
The red buff proc, and MF just zooms away.
How can she run so fast in high heels?
Oh, that's a huge big hook. Onto the Morgana. Stun does land. They break the shield. Ben Song in a whole lot of trouble here. External trying to keep him alive, but just cannot.
A Tokyo Drift I've ever seen one.
Yeah. You only see that into like Thresh Morgana matchups. Because Morgana can still walk as the hook lands. Because the hook doesn't do enough damage to break it.
Harry's looking for this top dive potentially. He is sharking around with that hook. They do have... No, they don't have the Kindred ult, so diving might be difficult, but...
Hook.
There goes the hook.
Looks for the predict onto Mincam, doesn't quite find it. I like that Harry on the Thresh went straight for the hook max against the Morgana. Normally you put like a few points into the Flay to bully around the lane, but you need to have as much damage on that hook to try and break the shield as quick as possible, stuff like that.
I do. I am a big fan of this. As there's a dive into the middle lane, Swain uses his ultimate. Not much going to happen here, but he is playing very aggro. Stun lands.
That's a very nice rip back onto multiple people. Hook actually lands there onto the Swain External. Black Shield will keep him alive for a little bit, but MF coming over, huge ulti onto multiple people, but is it enough? Batty almost immediately dies, and Monash continuing to look for more. The big tank has arrived. Series is looking for the flank behind, but multiple people die immediately. Alpha Am gets the trade back, and Monash might have just won.
Series just diving mega hard while Glop tries to 2v1 the carries.
Ring around the rosy here, doesn't eventually choose the way to go. Walks into an Aatrox and he will fall down.
Big fan of the interaction there between the Kane ult and the Kindred ult. Mincam saves his ult until Kindred ult wears off and immediately ults, so that they're just left holding their weapons. You know what I mean? They've got nothing to hit. Shoot? They've just got Kindred's just got a bow and arrow, just aiming at nothing. Like, where is he? I know he's low.
Wolf's like biting at the spit. Like, where did he go? I lost him.
And then yeah. Comes out with the ult. The ult has the higher ratio, I believe, as well with the assassin transformation. So Kane getting that bonus damage is able to one-shot Kindred, instantly flash Qs across Harry, I think, and picks up that instant double. What was looking like a really bad team fight he's managed to pick up 2 kills for himself. So on his way to that Duskblade, keeping them in it a little bit more than perhaps they deserve to be.
Yeah, but Monash in this game, once again, find themselves with a very early lead. 5,000 gold is the lead at only 16 minutes. They're looking for a pick onto Baddie. That's a summonerless misfortune. Sure, last time this happened, he's incredibly quick, but now he's on the wrong side of the map.
She's going to have to get her strut on.
Can she get down the river? She's walking into the turret. She's pretty quick, but there's a series over there. There's an Aatrox, and he's going to try and deal some damage back. It's a nice chunk onto the Kindred, but ultimately 1 versus 3. Nothing he was able to do there.
Yes. Meanwhile, Van's with the deepest of flanks.
Yes. He was a bit behind the play. Everyone else had walked that way like 30 seconds earlier, and he's like, boys, I'm coming.
Yeah.
Oh, no, they've arrived.
Top, go top, go top. And he's like, not paying attention. About 10 seconds later, he's like, yeah, I'm coming, I'm coming. Wait, where is everyone? Wait, why are they here?
Yeah, he falls down, unfortunately.
Unlucky.
He's actually gone for an interesting build here. Normally you see the Death Cap or the Zhonya's second item into the Void, things like that, but goes for the Rylai, so he's a bit tankier than the traditional Vlad, has a little bit more utility.
Well, I feel like having Baddie just strut his way out of that Spellbinder. Remember, he had Spellbinder and the second Q proc, and Baddie with his tier 1 boots just struts his way out in his high heels. And Vans thought, okay, that's not happening again. I'm buying a Rylai's. Hook goes wide, but it was a blind hook, so can't blame him.
Yep. He does have high heels this game because he's actually switched up the MF skin.
Yeah, that's exactly why I said it.
Yeah. Switches it up. I like that one. I do that on Alistar all the time. You know, if you got chroma packs, just use every single different one. Game to game. Of course, he lost the MF game, so he's like, okay, that skin doesn't work.
Yeah.
No, he won the MF game. So he's like, that skin does work. Yes, I'm going to use a different one.
Exactly. The rule is, if you win, you keep the skin.
But
if you lose, you've got to change.
He broke the rule.
He did break the rule. That's why he's losing this game.
Oh, actually, hook lands onto the Morgana. CC'd, so he can't pop the shield early enough. Ulti comes out from Ben Song to try and live. Flash hook almost lands onto the Kayn, but just does not. Series in with the flank. Clapify on the backside once again, but Vans goes in, does so much damage. Very late TP from the Swain. It might be too little too late. He does finally land. Mincam trying to cause a ruckus on the backside once again. Doesn't get that ulti off an external. 1 versus 4 here in between all of the Monash members. Cho'Gath, he's very big, he's very slow. He's trying to 1-away, but it might not be enough.
Huge team fight there from Monash. Just Series able to wreak havoc on the backline while Kindred has Kindred ult for the carries. Like, they've just got revives and invulnerability everywhere. You can't actually kill anyone. How are you supposed to win a team fight like that?
Super rough. 18 kills to 8. A huge gold lead for Monash, and they're just going to extend it even further here. Picking themselves up a nice little inner turret. Some extra gold lead off the back of a victorious team fight, and they haven't had too many of those this series so far. We're only into game number 2.
If you want to make a point about how Baron hasn't spawned yet, now is the time to do it. You've got only 1 minute.
Baron hasn't spawned yet, by the way. Spawning in 1 minute.
Very good.
Thanks, man. let me get it in.
The problem now for Monash, though, is that they're not at that, I feel like 10k is the danger point for them.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like either they want to keep it below 10k or above, because I feel like if they hit that 10k mark, UNSW is just going to start winning team fights out of nowhere. So either they should wait out for this Baron, or say they should all in right now while it's still only 8, because I'm nervous for them.
Harry looks for a play onto Mincam, but
does have that dust
might just get turned around. Vans arrives, does so much damage, but the ulti means he gets out scot-free. That's the Thresh falling down. This is a very
Aatrox has TP
Thresh,
behind, though, and he is currently killing Baddie.
Yep, blows up the misfortune before anything can happen. And we talked about Baron was just spawning in 10 seconds, and Monash have just won the team fight.
Ooh.
The Kayn actually gets cancelled outside of the wall. The slow does land.
He tags him with the ult, but just not quite enough. Kayn with the Mobies, the Blue Smite, and the ghosting, the wall walking is just insanely fast and does manage to sprint his way out. That was a really nice pick onto the Thresh there, actually. Black Shield means that the box does very little, if not nothing.
It's like a 19. I think it's literally a 99% slow, so it's basically a stun.
Might as well just not walk.
That's super rough. But in terms of Monash being able to break open this game and get the Baron, like, they won that team fight, but they're not all that tanky. So Sure Series is like an off tank at best. Thresh went for a very squishy build. They don't have like a support that can spam heals or spam shields, things like that. Yeah. So if members are up and available for UNSW, it's hard for Monash to actually start up the Baron. They're going to need to just look to turn and try and find a victorious fight.
They do it very quickly.
Yep.
So like they do have the Kindred as well as Asol and Vlad, who he's just
decided
to fly
goes over
in.
the wall. Stun does actually land into the Morgana. Van's out of range over the wall, can't follow up. Another hook through the bullet time means that they can't follow onto Mincam. Flash over the wall gets the Aurelion Soul to safety. Glupify does have the Righteous Glory still available, so if he wants to go in, he can, but everybody just walks away.
Harry is what I would call a Viking support.
He's a Lee Sin Q Thresh. He's like a
he doesn't fear death.
Yep.
You know what I mean? He's like a berserker. Like he's happy to die. He wants to go to Valhalla as long as you're gonna die, but he'll die too. But he's okay with that because he's going to Valhalla to fight with his comrades for the rest of eternity, right? But he just lands a hook and he just flies in.
And that was blind too. That's a pink ward. That's a
as long as they win the team fight, as long as they win the game, he doesn't care what his score is. He could be 0 million. That's a-okay. The victory is what he wants.
Yeah, it is. He also went for the Valhalla build as well. He can die and still cast Redemption on his teammates from death. He doesn't have to be alive to click the button. So he's even like stylistically itemized for that style as well. I like that one.
Okay, so for game 3, who do you put in?
What do you
Vans
mean?
or Harry? Who plays which?
Oh, and so like support?
I feel like Vans has impressed me on both roles.
Yes.
I feel like his Vlad has been impressive and his Braum was quite good.
Yep.
Whereas Harry, what did Harry play? Game 1? Swain?
Yes.
Like the Swain wasn't bad, but no, Swain was on the other team.
They're definitely looking for a team fight here. Series going in. Flash gets the last hit. Swain in between almost everyone. Ben Song dying on the left-hand side of your screen. Aurelion Sol ulti picks that one up. Vladimir has finally arrived and Swain falls down, and Glup once again, the Cho'Gath finds himself between multiple members of Monash. Huge gold lead for them, and they're just going to shove it straight up mid lane.
Yeah, they're not. Yeah, shoving it straight up. Pushing the mid tower here. They'll probably go for at least the inhib. Maybe, I don't think, I mean, the end would be pretty tough. Yep. 8 seconds on the Kane, 7 seconds on Ben Song on the Morgana, so don't think they'll go for the end. But they do have vision control around the Baron, and they have the people that they need to do a Baron. I think, though, that Uni has been baited by his mark, and we'll take the book instead.
Absolutely will, and we're only 22 minutes into the game, so death timers are relatively short across the board, so they didn't want to go for a greedy play. We talked about if they do get caught in the pit, if ultimates are up for the MF, things like that, Kane can cause a ruckus. So
Kindred gets that mark now anyway.
Actually looking for a play here, might be able to pick up the Thresh. He does. Now on the wrong side of the map, running towards the Aurelion Sol on the Aatrox.
Spellbinder casted.
Can he go through the wall? Can he get himself out here?
Waiting for Mobius to proc here, but I think Kindra's going to pick him up.
Does she? And he gets so
he failed the Q, no!
He doesn't get over the wall, but a binding might just be enough to save him. Alpha Am now wants a piece of the Morgana, but Ben Song does get the jungler a little bit of respite. And
they just can't kill him.
That's a cheeky kill onto the Thresh and get out scot-free.
That is, I think that's like the second or the third time that's happened this game. Mincam is just looking for Harry. He knows Harry wants to die, and he's happy to deliver that gift.
When you go for the assassin build, then you have to look for the assassinations.
You do. He's got the double Dirk.
Yeah.
He's got Duskblade and that extra Dirk. The
Does
W.
He go Edge of Night, or does he go Ghostblade?
No, you go Ghostblade for sure. Edge of Night is super not gold efficient. You pay a lot of money for the active.
Yep.
Which is not extremely useful when you're just trying to pick people like that.
Mm-hmm. You know, you have like Vlad, who you just break through something. Aurelion Sol Star hits you once, it can just immediately die. Once again, Monash are trying to set up around this top side of the map. They have been successful time and time again. They broke mid lane now, so it becomes a little bit easier for them to set up the vision control and maintain it.
They have that mountain as well.
Yep.
So Baron, I think, is definitely on the table. And I don't think anyone can really handle Aatrox in the side lane. So, you know, if this was OPL, I'd be talking about, you know, Aatrox just needs to pressure the side lane and force UNSW into a difficult choice, an impossible choice. Do you contest the Baron? Do you stop the Aatrox? And of course, all the cards are in Monash's hand. They can just stop the Baron, or Aatrox can just TP on. And
it looks like the answer might just be to stop the Baron, because Cho'Gath TP-less walking all the way topside. Very nice hook onto external. The Alpha Am coming in with the flank. Might just be enough to get onto Baddie. Has the Rylai's completed, so MF has to flash back over the wall to get himself to safety. But the entire time Series takes down that turret. He's just shoving down bottom lane. Looking to make another pressure point.
And the difficulty is also because they have supers in the mid lane, it's not even like Cho'Gath can just run straight bot. Right? Like, he can come bot to cover, but then these supers are going to push into the Nexus. And you can see Monash have now started the Baron. There's just nothing that UNSW can do about it.
They have the entirety of the river controlled. Pink wards everywhere. UNSW tried to face check. They fell down immediately. Without the Swain 4 versus 5 gold lead heavily in Monash's favor, they ultimately just give it over. I feel like the last stand is going to be in their base very soon.
Almost looks like Cho'Gath has Baron.
Yeah, it does. Except for the minions.
Oh, well, I mean,
Well, you said
I know he doesn't have Baron.
Yes, that is.
But it almost looks like he has Baron.
Yeah, okay, I'll pay that one. I'll pay that one.
I haven't seen him. Does he pull open? Oh, that's...
he jumps into the ground. He tears a hole open.
Woohoo! That's cool.
Yeah, that is...
oh, that's not cool, though.
What?
Did you see he reappeared at the end of the animation?
Oh, did he?
Yes.
That's actually Mint Cam looking for a pick onto the Kindred ulti, and
that's the wrong guy, my friend.
He's just going to fall down. The invulnerability keeps him alive, and that's 40 seconds death timer on the jungler. 4 versus 5, Monash with the Baron.
This has been a massive turnaround for Uni.
Yep.
From the last game. He's managed to have a massive impact this game on the Kindred. I think that's in no small part to Alpha Am having constant priority in the middle lane and just getting access to all the crabs as a result. I've been much happier with his performance in this second game.
Harry looks for the miracle hook onto the Duke and doesn't quite fan it. That's a big double up that lands onto the Thresh. He is fairly squishy, went for the Redemption into Crucible build, wants to deny that CC. Blup doing his best to try and hold series here, but eventually with the Baron creeps, he will be able to take down this turret if no teamfight breaks out on the top side. There's very little wave clear here for UNSW, so they're struggling to hold the structures.
And Kindred's attack range is just so long anyway. She's got so many stacks, and she has that rapid fire cannon. It's very difficult for UNSW to actually get onto her and stop her from hitting the tower.
Pressure points on multiple sides of the map. They have to pull the trigger on somewhere. Super Creeps pushing into the mid lane. They've now lost top, and Series is alone with the bottom in here.
Swain is as well, so he's going to have to go back to base before they can fight, which means that they're just going to be able to end the game right here.
This might just be the big team fight. Series is an absolutely huge Aatrox onto the backline.
Just diving the ball, he doesn't care.
Does a lot, but might not be enough here. Monash completely wiping the floor with UNSW, and all 3 inhibs down. Nexus turret number 1 falls down, and they're on to number 2, and they just look to equalize the series.
That'll be 1-1 after a huge performance out of Monash. I want to say a big turnaround, but I mean it really wasn't. It was really very similar to the first game. Bot dives going wrong for UNSW, but this game they were much cleaner on the execution of that late game. So good signs from Monash.
Yep. They didn't have the Wombo, you know. They didn't have the Sona. They didn't have the Ornn. The MF ulti, unfortunately, was not enough to turn around enough of these fights, and they had the lead, and Monash just continue to press. Series ahead in the side lane. Pressure around the Baron.
Hard.
Yeah, they did fresh super hard. Thanks for that.
But a lot to think about for UNSW now, I think, because that first game didn't look very good, and then they managed to pull it back. That second game didn't look very good, and they didn't manage to pull it back.
What's the third option?
It doesn't look very good, and I don't know, it just continues to not look very good. It doesn't end, I suppose.
Yeah, that could be super rough, you know, but of course we will be going into game number 3 very shortly. 1-1, the series has been equalized between these two teams. Because coming into the day, like, it's pretty interesting, like, what I expected. Not too familiar with these two teams. Like, is it going to be a stomp? Like, is it going to be a 3-0? But overall, Monash, for the time being, in terms of standard play, because we haven't really seen too many cheesy compositions, like, have looked overall better and now find themselves equalizing the series up.
Yeah, I think they'll definitely be disappointed with game 1. I think, for me, Monash has looked like the better team so far, but it's just one of those ones where, you know, it's a game, anything can happen, and UNSW had a really nice first game. I'd like to see them play maybe something else in game 3. They played sort of the same draft last 2 games, and both games they've fallen pretty far behind early. It is Uni-lol, so maybe their champ pool's not that deep, I'm not sure, but I would like to see something different.
Steer away from what they've been doing, switch things up, maybe pull out a cheesy strategy, but we will be going into game number 3 after this 10-minute break. Don't go anywhere. Hello and welcome back to the Oceanic University Grand Final here. Monash and UNSW find themselves 1-1. I'm E-Jim, this is Carbon. What have you thought of the game so far?
I think Monash look really, really good. I think the series is 1-1, but I've been very impressed by Monash so far. UNSW, yes, they got some moments and they got some funky compositions, and they're going to have to keep pulling them out if they want to take the series.
Yeah, absolutely. Been sticking to the MF. I know that you're not a big fan of that pick so far. We've seen 2 games of it.
Well, I mean, it's one of those ones where there have been the portions of the game where it's looked really effective.
Yep.
But it's also a pick where if things don't go your way, really not going to contribute very much to the team for the rest of the game. And so I feel like, we're 2 games in, it's 1-1, but in both games, the bot lane has been punished pretty hard, and I feel like maybe it's time to try something else.
And it is one of those things where they had an Ornn and they had a Sona to set up the MF, and then they go to something like the Cho'Gath and the Morgana, which, sure, they do have, Engage, but it's nowhere near as effective as an Ornn and a Sona. No much AoE, things like that. So.
Absolutely. Nothing really to hold them in place. I mean, Cho'Gath. If Cho'Gath is hitting a silence, if Cho'Gath is landing a Q silence, it's like, well, they're probably going to win the team fight anyway, right? That's a pretty difficult combo to hit in the team fight against good players.
Pretty unreliable. You can flash away, you can dash away, things like that. Of course,
you can walk away.
Yeah, you're probably good at a certain point. We are seeing a lot of the similar bans. We've seen Fiddlesticks, Soraka, Rengar banned away in every single game.
Yeah.
Nocturne got to hit the bench as well.
So, I mean, for me, the winning team, there's no need to change bans.
Yep.
Right? You want the games to stay the same. You want to keep doing the same thing that you've done the last couple games because it's working for you. When you're the losing team, that's when you really want to change it up. But okay, well there we go. There's a change.
Yep.
I was going to say Fiddlesticks Nocturne. We've seen that every game so far. But the Aatrox ban does come through. Aatrox was definitely an issue in the last game, and he's just a broken pick.
Yep, Monash going to go through with a Kai'Sa ban once again, despite having a good game 1 performance there. I feel like Vans in the bottom lane played the Vlad last time, played the Braum game number 1, has looked incredibly good. We don't know who's going to be playing where this game until they lock in, but there is a Rakan.
Rakan Hover for first pick. Rakan first pick is really strong.
Yep.
But it doesn't matter because they don't do it, so let's talk about Morgana instead.
Well, we can talk about it anyway. You pick Rakan, and then you kind of force them to want to take away the Xayah, but that kind of feels
Xayah on her own
is
pretty
bad.
butthole, so you don't really want it. And then but then the thing is even if you do take the Xayah, Rakan is just so much better on his own than Xayah is on her own.
Yep.
So it's just a really good scenario all round.
But we might just be going back to the MF, with the Morgana taken away by Monash, means that UNSW don't have that option. Sona is still up and available, and that game did look a lot more successful, so do they just pick that one up here? Because I feel like if you get through your first 3 picks without picking up the Sona, then it probably will get banned away.
Yeah.
Things like the Alistar, things like the Sona that can lock down multiple people, but this might just be the game 1 composition coming back into play.
Yeah, big fan of this so far. I mean, MF, okay, look, he's obviously huge preference on the MF, and at the end of the day, when you're playing on stage, being comfortable with what you're playing is really important. You don't want to lock in something that you play rarely and then just go 0-10 on Vayne or something. So I can understand where he's coming from. I really like the Ornn. I thought that Glup had a big impact in game 1 on the Ornn, so great pick out of him there.
That's the game they won, going back to the successful composition. So
Trundle taken away, though, for Monash.
Oh, and that might be the Singed. We haven't seen that so far. Would be Series picking that up into the top lane. Very good matchup into the Ornn.
Yeah, not really much the Ornn can do against Singed. Singed just sort of farms until he's out of control. Yep. Ornn needs to make his impact felt elsewhere on the map.
Yep.
I do like the Trundle pickup though. Trundle very good into immobile AD carries. If he's anywhere near this MF, if she tries to ult or even if she doesn't, even if she's just walking,
hit her with a pillar.
You can shove the pillar in her direction, and she can't go anywhere.
Yeah, you can cancel the ulti with it if you put it right on top. You can push her to the side. You cancel absolutely everything. Of course, not to mention you can cancel Ornn ulti when he needs to dash.
Yes.
You can hit him with a pillar.
Yep.
Singed has the grounded in that puddle as well. He can fling. Really just a lot of displacement coming from this team once again. UNSW opting into a similar style of bottom lane. They've played the MF with those pokey mages, but Nami really doesn't have the lockdown of the Sona that we saw in game number 1.
Yeah,
so
I really don't understand. I mean, okay, short burst trades with the E on the MF for the auto, because he does the one auto.
Yep.
Auto Q E, okay, maybe, but I don't know. I feel like this is a perfect Sona game.
Yeah, Nami is very good into Morgana because you actually do a significant amount of magic damage, so you can actually break the shield yourself, and then you apply the slow to make it easy to land the bubble, things like that.
Yeah.
You can also just rush a Crucible very happily on Nami. You don't have to like invest in AP, because you just like you don't care about your AP value. Like your heal scales very well. Like Sona does a significant amount of damage, Nami does not, and you can just go Crucible for the mana regen. Nami has a lot of mana problems going later into the game, so it just feels super nice against the single target CC like the Morgana.
Okay,
it's pretty good.
Okay. Okay, Taliyah lock-in. Taliyah, like Kindred, into Trundle is a matchup that Taliyah definitely wins, but at the same time, like she cannot afford to face check this Trundle, especially not early game. And if he goes to that Tiamat, he can really sort of kill her at all levels. So it's one of those funny ones where theoretically, you know, range versus melee, high burst, high clear speed on the Taliyah. She has CC. Like theoretically, Taliyah should win, but it's just one of those ones where you just see it happen so often that where in practice, the Trundle just manages to get a couple autos off and all of a sudden Taliyah has to flash away.
If you fall behind on the Taliyah, it's very hard to get back into the game. Yep. Interesting Ezreal pick up here. Not a champion we've seen for a long time, but that's a pick that scares me. Alpha Am on that Aurelion Solar had so much priority, so much control around the mid lane. Meant that the Kindred, not in this game, but could find access to basically anything she wanted, and he's going to get that champion once again. Yeah,
so paying a lot of respect to Vans or Harry, whoever goes bot lane with the Vlad Heimerdinger bands.
Yep.
They're afraid of that bot lane mage. But at the same time, yeah, they leave the ASOL up, and they did last pick mid, so maybe they thought that that External had the counter pick option there.
Yep.
But at the same time, I mean, ASOL's just one of those champs, man. It's hard to beat.
It's a Cassio into an Aurelion Sol isn't about like beating him in priority. Like he's going to shove in the wave, and you can't do anything about it. It's all about the kill threat. So if you ever get a good trade, like Taliyah can come in from the flank from behind, you have the grounded so that the Aurelion Sol can't just zoom away, hit that E button. It is a long cooldown, but if he has it available, he can't just walk away. You can always have that kill threat there. And they just want to fight in the mid lane. They want to take it to the 2v2 rather than just letting him do what he wanted like he did in game number 2. Yeah, no,
I like the strategy. I mean, there are a lot of picks on the UNSW side that we don't see very often, but they definitely synergize.
Yep.
You know, if Taliyah can impact this middle lane, if Cassio gets a lead, ASOL just worse than useless from behind.
Yep.
I mean, when he's behind, because his build is so tanky and like mana and speed, it's so utility based that if he doesn't have the XP to give him damage, he just has nothing.
And he has to be like in star range, which is basically within auto attack range and ability range from the Cassio. So if you're not tanky enough to be able to withstand that, you can't really dish out the damage. So you only really have a few options here and there, like the Alt Q combo. You can land a whole bunch of CC, but if you can't stick around for that sustained DPS, it is super rough there for the Aurelion Sol. I like that UNSW kind of have like a pseudo wombo this game. Like it's not as reliable as a Sona and an Ornn, but if the Ornn lands the engage, Miasma can go over multiple people. Then you have the MF reigning over the top as well. They're definitely sticking to this pick, have a lot of confidence in it, and see if it works for them in game number 3.
Yeah, again, like Baddies MF, obviously Alpha AM very comfortable on this Aatrox, on the Aurelion Sol, and I imagine he's just going to continue picking it until it gets banned.
Yeah, absolutely, as we are into game number 3. Is there going to be an invade in the top river?
Here it comes.
I feel like
sure enough.
There absolutely is. And that's all 5 people, Min-Cam, leading the charge on that Freljord Taliyah. Spot out the ward, unfortunately.
It's just,
they don't get it.
I don't get it.
At what point is it too broadcast?
I mean,
I feel like we've reached that point.
Maybe it's one of those ones where it's like surely they won't do it this time.
Yeah, oh, you're like counter mind gaming.
It's like the double down.
Oh, you're like teaching them. You're teaching them.
Yes,
it's like thresh
conditioning.
Hooking. You throw hook left twice, and then you throw it right because you've conditioned them to juke right.
Yeah.
So this was the game that was meant to turn around, unfortunately.
But I mean, they also, like, they just got no CC. They've got, like...
Yeah, their level 1
just can't do anything. Like,
kind of rough.
Every game, it's just so... They can't do anything.
Yep.
Anyway, so they've gone down to... their starting positions. Looks like bot lane for UNSW not going to leash. Taliyah walking to the top side. Wonder whether she's starting red or whether she's planning on late invading this blue buff.
Well, she's just going to place a ward and does just back away. So
yep, so just
going to start the red buff. Van's actually on support again this time as it's Harry that picks up the AD carry. So no role
the
swapping.
AD carry, I like that.
Harry, and he's actually playing an AD carry. You know, this is a very early trade.
That's a fat trade.
That absolutely is. Scorch does so much damage, and that's a very cheeky start to the lane that favors UNSW.
Okay, we've got another new skin for MF here. So
try number 3.
With Captain MF. See what he can do. Maybe that's the issue. Maybe Harry can't play mages.
Ah.
And Vans can play mages.
Maybe that is it. Alpha M.
Looking for the level 2 roam. Level 1 roam. Doesn't even have the stun yet.
Yep, so that would be a little bit rough. Ping goes out early. Maybe just trying to get some vision control around the crab. As Mincam goes down, cleans this one up. That does mean he has the opportunity to double scuttle if he wants, because Uni didn't take his on the top side of the map.
Yeah, but at the same time, I mean, his mid lane is getting shoved in, his top lane is getting shoved in.
Yep.
I mean, he's probably made an educated guess on Uni starting top side because the bot lane didn't leash, but at the end of the day, you know, it's still a guess. Sometimes you don't know, and sometimes you're just a bit nervous about playing on stage and playing in a grand final and a trip to China on the line, and you don't want to just run up there and get chomped.
Yep. Chomping is exactly what Trundle does best, as he does show on the vision, the dot push that we saw Mincam place very early at level 1, so they know exactly where the Trundle is right now. Glup just being shoved in on the top side by Series on the Singe, exactly what you expect for this matchup, so he's happy to just farm it up underneath the turret. He's just trying to sustain as much as possible, and Trundle level 2 gank threat or dive threat is really not that great. Yep. I say not that great, you say non-existent. You are a man of extremes. You're like, this champion isn't bad. They're garbage. Like, they're
it's fun to talk
playable.
in extremes. Yeah. It's not fun to be reasonable all the time.
Yeah, I can back that, 100%.
I like fun. That's what I'm about.
Yep.
I'm about having fun.
Mincam was thinking about some fun in the mid lane, but unfortunately, Euralian Soul does just back away, so he takes himself. Rings. Does he go for the Dark Seal? No, just goes for a pink water boots.
He doesn't have that much. It's 3-minute mark.
Yeah, he's 17 CS.
He's got that much gold.
This is how you tell him a support.
Ooh, here we go. Oh, just not patient enough. I'm not sure whether the plan was to catch him there or whether just to put some wards down.
Yep.
He doesn't actually have a ward, so it couldn't have been that.
I feel like he called over the Nami very early, so they were looking for vision. If they sat around in the bush for half a second longer, all of a sudden Bubble lands into an easy flick.
Ooh, double up.
Trundle gets flicked back and takes so much damage. And that could have been first blood, but they just do walk away.
But a bit fortunate for Uni that they don't have the patience there. But again, you know, we've got God View.
Yes.
It's easy to remember. For them, they're just standing in a bush thinking, how much time are we going to waste before he doesn't show up?
And Trundle having to be called down to the bottom side of the map because that's big trades going over in favor of UNSW. The MF very early is so potent. Harry has used all of his potions.
We're going to see a TP on the creep here, maybe to bait a bubble. And
onto the cannon. Show. That'd be very brave. No, it goes onto the turret.
Chicken's out.
I feel like Ben Song has all of the proactivity to just land the bubble.
Yeah. No, he does land the bubble.
Yep. Then Trundle comes in.
Trundle comes in anyway, and he gets black shielded. He has flash.
He doesn't die immediately.
He doesn't die. Like, he will get bubble, but the idea is he doesn't get one shot through Black Shield, and then Trundle kills them both.
Yeah, but I feel like for UNSW this game, it's going to revolve a lot around this mid lane and being able to get that control. Bottom lane pushing means they do have opportunities when they have priority to walk up the river, set some pink wards up as Nami has invested, and try and get this Cassiopeia rolling. Once you hit that level 6 mark, your 1v1 in terms of kill potential spikes greatly, and they want to get things happening onto Alpha M.
Yeah, and I feel like this mid lane has been much better than the last game for UNSW. No real priority so far for the ASOL. We have seen him cheat into the river a couple times, but hasn't really accomplished anything. Is actually also down in CS.
Pretty significantly. Has a 10 CS lead. Mincam is around Miasma.
Grounds pretty big, actually, for Alpha Am because External has no mana.
Yep.
And Mincam is just constantly being pulled back to this mid wave to try and shove it in, but ASOL with the Dematerializer as well as Corrupting Pot means he has so much mana to just continually hit the wave, and External's going to be forced to stay in the mid lane a little bit longer than he'd like to, and ASOL's going to get his second base off.
Yeah, absolutely. And as a Cassio, not having mana to last hit underneath the turret, feels pretty bad as he's still sitting around. He goes for a pretty greedy base once again, realizes, cancels, and walks back. So that's twice that he expends a whole bunch of time that he didn't necessarily need to. We talked about how quick he pushes. This is already shoved into the turret.
I mean, the next level for me would be whether or not Alpha M knew that Talia based.
Okay.
Right, because Talia based earlier, and as soon as Talia based, Alpha M cancelled his, which is what makes me think that maybe he knew, but I mean, it could have just been luck. But yeah, Cassio, eventually she loses the wave. Sooner or later, she has to go to base. Well, bad. He's absolutely giving it to Harry in the bottom lane.
This is a straight up 1v2. Nami walked up the river, tried to get some vision control, stuff like that, and Baddy just stepping up, dodged the bind, sidestepped on his very quick MF, and dishes all the damage back around. Mincam only level 4 to level 5.
Dangerous.
Has flash. Uses it to get out of range as the star gets used early by Alpha Am. So they get the summoner. They don't get the kill, but victory goes over to Monash.
Yeah, Cassiopeia having priority in the mid lane as well meant that it was either lose farm or try to all in Cassio, and they probably don't want that 2v2 quite yet. Despite Talia burning the flash, Cassio really just does a lot of damage early into the game. And Asol, he really wants number advantage. He wants to use his mobility to force a number advantage. He doesn't really want the 2v2 because it's very difficult for him to do damage.
Brilliant Soul has to commit to the play. Trundle has to commit to the play as well. Then you face tank a Petrifying Gaze. External, though, is now in a 1v2. Pops the barrier to try and live for a little bit longer. Ultimate does land, but he's incredibly low. Flashes to the side is not enough, and Cassio goes down for first blood.
Almost flashes over the top of that Asol ult there, but just gets clipped by the side and pushed back into the river. Meant that no 1v2 outplay for him, and Mincam caught doing a camp means he's not able to help.
Spent so much time trying to help the Cassio earlier. Wanted some camps, wanted to farm up himself, and that's both summoners burnt. The ultimate burnt for the Cassio, and he loses his life, whereas Alpha Am Uni used absolutely nothing there. It was just the pillars and the ultimates, and they maintain control.
And that is just the ultimate feels bad as a jungler. You're called away from ganking other lanes, called away from pressuring the map, getting vision down, or doing your camp because your mid laner needs help, and then as soon as you leave the lane, he dies. It's just, not only has your time been wasted, but it was all for naught anyway, so... Monash looking for a route here. He does have flash, so if External walks up a little bit too far, he could be in some danger, but I feel like he feels the pressure and walks into the top side where his jungler is.
Get some vision control down. Pink wards the dot push. We'll be able to clear that one out. It might just be a bait with the base on the top side. Series has flash available. Pops the Insanity Potion and flashes over the wall. Very nice flick. Also goes wide. Mincam is very low mana.
Yeah, Series almost thinking about that 2v1 here.
Can he go back
a lot
in,
of damage out of Glup, though.
Gets hit with the clap from Ornn and turns it around.
Yes, a lot of damage there out of the Ornn. He was looking for the flip. He had the flip up the entire time, and he knew that Mincam didn't have flash. So there was a potential there for the 2v1, but at the end of the day, you know, that Ornn burst, it's sort of surprising. You never think, like, he's a tank. You never think, but once he gets that brittle on you,
I feel like Swiper said it on the OPL, on the couch, that Ornn's all-in range, like in terms of a health range, is very big, like 60%, something like that. He actually does a whole bunch of damage with the passive, with the brittle. The Bellows Breath ultimate comes through, so his damage cannot be understated. He's one of the tanks that can actually bully in the laning phase, dependent on matchup.
Uni sees Talia on the ward here, and he's quite low from doing this Water Dragon. Water Dragon does deceptively large amounts of damage.
And you're so slow.
And the slow means you can't do anything.
Finding no land, though, that's a very easy pickup onto the Talia. TP's coming through, bullet time over multiple members. Van's looking for the roots onto Baddie. Bensong trying to keep his AD carry alive.
Cassio's going to pop off here.
Very big knock-up. Cassio on the backside. External getting 1v1 by Uni. Now a 1 versus 2 where Singed arrives. Glup finds himself between multiple members. Tries to flash over the wall. Alpha Am considering the chase, but ultimately backs away.
Yeah, External not able to be the hero that UNSW needs. Again, it's one of these bot lane fights. It looks sort of good at the start. MF ulti's looking like a lot of damage, but what can they really do? Morgana just ults and flashes forward, follows the flash, and the stun equals instant death.
And it must be frustrating for UNSW, especially Mincam. Every place he's gone has been a disaster. Look for that pick on top side. Series flashes over the wall. Very nice play. It fizzles. They look to contest the dragon. All of a sudden, Uni, he does fall very low, but Trundle has that regen. He gets the ultimate off. He gets back up to full HP, and they lose the fight once again. And every proactive play UNSW do seem to make, Monash just have an answer.
Yeah, UNSW, very obviously, they play around their bot lane. Their bot lane is very important. I'm not sure who the captain or the leadership figure is. I don't know who's talking the most on this team, but it seems to me that there's always a lot of action around the bot side of the map. And I mean, the champions they play are very good in lane, but they're not so hot in skirmishes. I mean, Ezreal, you saw Ezreal, he only has really mana items. I mean, he does have the Sheen and the pickaxe, which is a fair bit of damage, but Ezreal early
only has mana items.
Yeah, I mean, I thought he bought them because his TP just came back off cooldown. So I felt
like after the
I thought
fight.
maybe I can't remember if he based or not. But in any case, Ezreal should not be doing more damage than MF at this stage of the game, and just due to his mobility, he's able to E away from the threats while deal damage, whereas MF just sort of has to stand still.
And I think it's a product of the mage supports, right? It's not like you're pairing the MF with an Alistar, who then in a skirmish in the river can lock people down at a choke, and the MF does a whole boatload of damage. In the straight 2v2, this can happen. You give her the E from the Nami, and straight up, you just deal more damage than an Ezreal. But when there's multiple threats that you have to realize that are going to dive onto you, it's very hard to play around. In saying that, Mincam is sitting over the wall. Unfortunately, he is on a ward from Monash. They know exactly where the Talia is and what he's doing.
Yeah, he has his wall up, and Ezreal has no flash, but at the same time, it's just... They've got the black shield to the flick. Ezreal has his E. Vans has his flash.
The wall comes out.
Gank.
Binding misses. It goes wide. Mincam is behind him. He falls incredibly low very early. Flash gets bans over the wall there, and actually it might just be a kill in the mid lane as well. They're continuing. Bot side, Bullet Time picks up the kill, and
what a Bullet Time.
UNSW makes something work.
Yeah, I mean, at the same time, they're going to lose their mid tower, which is a shame. Huge gank out of Uni. That's this Casio, the counter pick, the last pick, counter pick. Alpha Am just making it work on the Aurelion Soul anyway, but in that bot lane, flash forwards with the MF ult. Like I said, it was a very difficult gank. I think the execution there was pretty difficult. They were all very low on the side of UNSW, but somehow they managed to make it work, and that's going to be some nice gold in the pocket of Misfortune.
Blinking health bars on multiple members, but they do find themselves with 2 kills. You're talking about their propensity to play through this bottom lane, so look, it sucks that your mid laner died. It sucks that Glup is falling a little bit behind the Singed, but if you want to play through bot side, MF getting the kills does bode well for UNSW tracking forward.
There's a lane swap coming out of Monash. I'm curious as to what this is. Maybe they think that Ceres can just hold these guys, that they're not going to be able to take the tower. But yeah, despite... I mean, I suppose maybe they died. Maybe they don't want to go down there and die again.
That's true. It is a pretty big Singed in terms of holding in a 1v2. Yeah, the dive potential is...
0 armor, though.
The dive potential is pretty bad. It's just about not being poked and getting access to the wave. Singed has to step into the wave, so he's going to tank auto attacks. The bubble, if it lands, means he probably will die. But Monash do have the tempo here. They've brought up multiple members to the top side. Casio is already floating, whereas Alpha Am's getting priority and bringing series before they come up here. Binding lands, and Uni looks to go in. UNSW looking for the engage. Miasma, and the flick lands onto Vans. He dies incredibly early. The flanks from Monash are coming in the backside, but they call it off.
Yeah, and at the same time, they're losing a ton of farm in the bottom lane because they've decided to lane swap, and no one is there. So UNSW have just shoved the lane in. They've run mid to pick up this wave. At the same time, Monash are losing people with the top lane. It's questionable lane swap for me. There's a bit of a collapse coming out. Ceres is very quick.
Does get the flick. Slowed with the Rylai's. That's a very early first purchase. Batty actually goes back in. It might have cost him his life here.
Yeah, no flash on
back up with the rest of his team. Talia and the Casio are around. They still have Petrify and Gaze. Bensong falls down very quickly. Can they get more? Looks like they're not. They will just back away.
The Rylai's on Ceres putting in work there. 3 people walking through the poison trying to collapse, but
that's so annoying.
The slow just means they can't do anything. AP Singed are definitely the most annoying one. Like the Singed who you can't kill but has also built AP. That's the Singed you hate most.
It's the icing on the cake.
Like the ones that used to build like ZZ Rot or Banner
like
and just like go tanky and stuff. Like, okay, they're annoying, but at least they don't kill you. But it's the one with like Rylai's Leandries where you can't kill him because he's so fast, but also you're dying.
Also, he kills you. It's just
that's the Singed you hate.
Seems a little bit unfair. And Ceres is having a very good game this time, even in CS. Now looking to threaten the Casio.
Actually, Trundle's down here. But
Petrifying Gaze goes onto the Trundle, trying to turn this one around. Flip lands, and there's so much damage between these two. Ceres very tanky, taking up the turret the entire time, and External falls down. Trundle actually not landing a single auto attack in that gank. All he did was ultimate and pillar, and Ceres did the rest. This Singed is snowballing out of control. And Uni wasn't even tanking the turret. It's not like he got stunned up in the turret, was tanking for the Singed. Just did literally nothing. He just put a pillar up, got ulted, and then he was just like, yeah, nice gank. I did it. 3-0-4. Weaver's Wall is going to come in behind. Once again, Mincam flanking the bottom lane of Monash. Harry falls very low and dies almost immediately. A very nice pickup around the bottom lane for UNSW once again. Yeah, had his arcane shift as well as the flash there, but the wall just put Mincam in a position where it was going to be so difficult for Ezreal to get away that it wasn't worth using. And yeah, I appreciate him just taking the death there. Probably a positional mistake, and you know, good micro wasn't going to save him. That's the thing. We always talk about making plays on two sides of the map. They just got the dive onto Casio bot side. They take down that turret. The jungler's down there, so all of a sudden the bottom lane for Monash is weak side of the map. They have to sit a little bit further back, and the moment they step up, the Talia, Mincam just comes through and punishes. Yep, absolutely. Mincam, he might be caught in the river here. He doesn't have flash, and Aurelion Sol is very difficult to run away from. Yep, has the slow, has the ultimate. Picks him up. Ceres gets himself the 4th kill of the game. You said this Singed is snowballing out of control, just getting even worse. And that was a 1,400 gold lead on the Singed at the moment. Yep. At this stage of the game is a lot of money. Yep. 600 gold. 600 gold. He got on the shutdown. From the shutdown. Yes, MF Baddie uses the flash to get himself. The wave comes through. and buys a little bit of time. UNSW looking to get onto Alpha M. The Rift Herald is still actually aggroed.
That's a huge miasma.
Onto Sirius. Miasma grounds everyone for the bullet time over the wall, and UNSW looking for more. Unfortunately, the knock-up does not land Uni.
Harry has TP, but he's just opted to push the bottom lane in. I'm not sure what the call there was, whether they were, you know, maybe just trying to staunch them off, trying to scare them away from contesting the Rift Herald, but a massive miasma into bullet time just means that Monash just get shreked by this MF despite having a gold lead yet again.
Once again, the miasma comes down. They're looking to contest onto this turret. Alpha M almost gets bubbled up, but does finally clear enough of the wave. Uni looking for something as Harry finally does arrive, but UNSW, the team fight kings, they
yeah, I'm a big fan of this, you know, MF with the Ornn or MF with some sort of setup. The ultimate just does so much, and Monash just seem to love eating it.
Yeah, they just love walking into the bullets.
They just love copping it.
Yeah,
it's yeah, if there's anything to take from these 3 games, it's just MF or whatever. We'll just stand in it, make it rain on me, baby. I don't mind.
It's not money, it's bullets, so they just die. They don't get rich.
Someone told them that it's not money.
I don't think they have.
Oh, that was one auto attack.
Yep.
That was...
The passive does so much damage.
Yeah.
Every individual, like, different target you hit does a little bit of extra damage. Choke points are just going to be so big for UNSW this game.
Absolutely.
Setting up in the jungle, around the Baron, things like that, when you can land this setup much more reliably, is where they really want to fight. If Monash can sort of split the map, because they still have a very decent gold lead. It was about 5,000. After that team fight is now 3, but they have Aurelion Sol who can push out a side lane. Series is ahead. He can push out a side lane. So if they can force a numbers advantage and try and force a skirmish in a big open area where they have room to move, that's how they want to fight. But if they keep face-checking these chokes, then UNSW might have a repeat of game number 1.
As long as they don't get miasma or Ornn-horned in a choke, I think. I mean, they have Trundle ult, and UNSW have a single tank front, like single tank composition, and they should just be able to fight front to back and just shred them. But if this series is anything to go by, we're almost certainly going to see a miasma in a choke and an MF ult.
And I like it, honestly. It's more fun to watch, you know? Big 10-man on your screen, big team fights. It's,
yes. That's what League's about. League is about big team fights. That's what I like.
That was a big chunk, and they're actually looking for more. The Star burns out the heal from Baddie as the flank is actually on from UNSW. They're trying to defend this mid lane inner turret. Casio clearing out the top side is late to the party, so they lose a lot of damage there. Monash still sticking around.
Sinch is grouped in the middle lane. This is going to be a 4v5, but like we were talking about, Ornn can engage so easily. Ezreal just looking for a little bit of poke. I think they're looking for the Ornn though. Glup
may have just face-checked the wrong 2 targets here. Blows the Ornn horn there. Does get the double knock-up, and multiple people from Monash rotating over. They have the priority. Can he live for long enough? The answer is no, and he falls down 4 versus 1.
And that's what I was talking about. That Trundle ult just makes him so squishy. Meanwhile, Ezreal's been grounded here, and he's just going to get one shot.
Oh, heal flash over the wall. Bullet time eventually cleans up the play. Very nice bubble. Blows up Series, and that's 2 big picks onto Monash. UNSW might be doing it again around the jungle in these small strokes. Baddie, can he get the pick off? Actually, the last auto attack is enough. Gets the flash as well, and
Incam surfs on in on the wither wall, but I think they've decided they're just going to run straight to the Baron.
Yeah.
Trundle's stuck on the bottom side of the map. He got walled off.
Yeah.
They're going to do this Baron so quickly with Casio Talia.
Yeah, they do so much damage. Trundle actually recalls. It's quicker to get to the top side of the map. UNSW
TP on the Ornn as well.
Walk over here, Glup. Do they have a ward to place down? Baddie actually does have one in his inventory, but he's not using it. Glup is still on the top side. They have the heals from Nami, but I have to think you have to bring the Ornn. That's a TP already from Monash. They're looking for the contest.
They've tanked a lot of damage already, but
is it going to be enough? Very, very low. 2k is the turn.
Baron.
Miasma is onto 2 targets, and the Trundle cannot get in. That's Baron going over to UNSW, and the call is to just get out. Ornn might have to sacrifice himself. That's 1 death for a Baron buff. Look, if you're Glup, it sucks, but you'll take that.
Absolutely. I feel like they definitely could have gone for more there. I saw Ceres, he popped the ult, he started running very quickly, but to only take the Ornn kill, I don't think it's enough. If you're Monash, you need to get more out of that scenario.
Yeah, 100% from a gold lead to Monash. Still in their hands, 2,000. But once again, UNSW, they're the kings of just winning from behind. You know, they don't need gold to win fights. They just need the buttons.
It's just somehow these MF ults just keep doing so much damage. Ezreal just gets caught rotating late. Miasma just, I mean, it doesn't matter how mobile you are. If you're grounded, you're grounded. And
Rift Herald. I don't think I've ever seen a Rift Herald dropped into a Baron wave. Because that requires the team winning to get the Rift Herald and then to like turn at 20 minutes. Very early Baron. Taken by the other team.
Yeah, because you can't have already used Rift Herald before the Baron's been taken.
Yeah, so it's like... I've never seen Shelly try and fight a creep wave of super creeps. She definitely lost, by the way. Died almost immediately.
Who would win? Baron Cannon or Shelly?
Yeah, well, when Baron Cannon has 7 other friends, probably the Baron Cannon. As UNSW, there's a lot of standing gold on the map. Complete outer ring. They don't even have a single turret right now, so sure, they're behind in gold, but this Baron
swing very quickly.
Probably isn't going to break the base of Monash, but if they can take down the outer ring, start contesting these inner turrets, the gold lead could definitely swing back in their favor.
Yeah, it's one of those ones where you've been winning team fights, so you want to stay clumped in the 5v5, but really, they got to get those side turrets down. That's, you know, what is that? That's like 600 by 5 is like 3k gold swing.
I do look to turn it around, of course. Alpha M does have a big gold, as we checked in with it just quickly. It was 2,000 over the Casio. Lead for the MF, which is exactly what you expect, and for the jungle as well, as that's actually just a straight 1v1.
Harry's just...
Baddie just picks up Harry. He's having a very rough game here on the Ezreal. And he's going for the scaling build. He's gone for the Manamune, fully upgraded, and has the second tier. So in terms of spiking, it's going to be very late this game.
Yeah, he's... I don't see him being very relevant. Mincam... Oh, Rylai's on the Reliant Soul.
Lands, but that's a singed in behind him. Full goes down, but he's just trying to buy time across the edge of the map. Weaver's Wall does get him to safety. And
Baron Recall means he's out as well, and this could be... It's going to be a bit spooky.
Yeah, 8-second recall for Monash as they do all channel at the same time. Harry is up and available, so it will be 5 members in the base very soon. But that buys UNSW just enough time. Monash committed to the play. They looked for the Talia, could not find the pick, and lose the inhib in the process.
How many games before they start banning MF, do you think?
Yeah, I reckon this might be the one. Ornhorn lands onto one. Glup was running out of range there on the Ram, and Miasma tries to buy him some time. Ornn, incredibly slow compared to the Mobies of the Morgana, compared to the Aurelion Soul. If any ability lands, he will be caught out, but very nice flash gets him out of the bind.
They're just continue chasing because they know if one pillar... He doesn't even need to pillar him in. He just needs to pillar him in any direction and Sims will catch them.
Yep, pillar for the slow, but a very nice wave out of Bensong means that they buy enough time. And they just do the exact same thing in reverse. It was Mincam buying time for them to push. All of a sudden, they back away on the top side of the map. He solos out a cheeky little dragon, and UNSW now find themselves with a gold lead.
I mean, yeah, they're just such a resilient team. It doesn't matter how far behind they are. They just, they knuckle down, they look for an MF ult, and somehow they find their way back in.
These are the players you want on your team in solo queue.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like they die in lane.
FFers.
They die in lane. They're like, don't worry, guys. I'll play safe. Can win. And then Monash are just like, FF?
Yeah, it's like that game where you're up so far that everyone starts trolling. Like you're like 10-0 up in like 5 minutes,
gold lead,
and everyone just starts trolling because they're all so fed. And then at some point, someone's like, "Hey, can we win now?"
Yeah, and it always, when you reach that point where someone's like, "Can we win now?" You've thrown too much.
You've already lost.
Like you've already lost. You've fed the Vayne. You've fed the Casio. The Kog'Maw has 4 items, and you're just like, okay, no, like we can't win now.
They're looking for a pick onto Glup.
Oh, very nice black shield. Blocks out from the flick there, so Alpha AM does not go anywhere.
And as UNSW with the first gold lead they've had in 25 minutes.
Looking to contest on the bottom side of the map. Baron has
they might be
fallen
caught out here though.
Bensong does have the flash available, gets over the Dragon Wall. Very nice Miasma. It's interesting because it actually stops the damage coming out of the Aurelion Soul, blocks the stars
because he loses the stars.
Yep. So Miasma, a very potent tool. Ornhorn does actually stop him from getting over the wall. That's a flashless Aurelion Soul. Uses the heal to buy some distance and knock up.
Oh, binding lands.
Huge binding, but huge petrifying gaze. Kills absolutely everyone. Series so incredibly low. The wall comes in on the backside. Mincam channels them against the wall. The flank is there, but they can't get any more picks. Multiple flashes. They get the one, but now they're just looking to push the base.
And somehow Monash have lost a 3v4 in the bottom side while Mincam and Glup are trying to pick Aurelion Soul. I mean, this Misfortune is just doing insane amounts of damage. The Miasma, the Petrifying Gaze out of the Cassiopeia is just setting it up perfectly, and he's just one-shotting this Ezreal over and over and over again.
Every single time, sitting on those 3 items, has the Storm Razor finished that Black Cleaver, so every single wave does more and more damage. Glup just breaks his own pillar as he tries to walk away, but that's 2 inhibs very early into the game. They had the Baron 26 minutes, broken the base in multiple points, and with Baron spawning fairly soon, bottom inhib, hugely important.
Yep, and 11 combined deaths on the bot lane for Monash. I feel like maybe they throw Vans back on the mage next game.
Yeah, maybe they switch it up. It's been the one game flip up every single time.
Yeah.
Game number 4.
What's your take on Shirelia's first Morgana?
Actually, I saw it the most at Rift Rivals prepping for the Japanese teams.
Right.
They did it like almost every single game.
Okay. They do some pretty kooky stuff though.
Yeah, but
they've
like,
always played weird
a
stuff.
lot of people like go for the Zhonya's now that it gives CDR. Like it's pretty good, and you can actually be a traditional Morgana. Whereas support Morgana is all about the shield, but you can be like an alt flash in Zhonya's Morgana.
Yeah.
Now that Zhonya's is a useful item, so you see a lot more of that. Shirelia's, I kind of like it with a composition like Singed, but when you're this far behind, it doesn't really do a lot, because you're not looking for the engage. You're waiting for the Archangels to tick for the Ezreal. You need more items to come through, things like that, and it's very rough at this point when you're only sitting on that one item.
It seems to me that this Singed is no longer getting priority in the side lane, or just face tanking his damage and clearing the wave.
Very tanky boy. Baron spawning in 3 seconds, and Vision Control handedly goes in favor of UNSW.
And they do it so incredibly quickly as well. Talia Cassio, that's just so much Baron damage.
Harry was looking for a recall there. Was actually on Vision. Has TP to come back to base.
Yeah.
UNSW looking for a bit of a bait here.
Oh, and they've been caught in the middle lane. It looks like Harry might be in trouble yet again.
Huge flank. The binding does land, but is it enough? It means the Ornn can't be channeled forward. Bad, he flashes forward, and Harry goes down. He looked for the trade onto Gluff, but cannot quite find it. That is a big amount of tools, but an Ornn Talia ulti is taken off the table, but now this is 2 waves of super creeps pressuring the base. Glup's just going to TP back to the pit, and it will be a 4v5.
Harry went for it all there.
Yep.
It's one of those ones where you're sort of caught that perhaps you can one-shot someone before you die, and I feel like Vans, he held on to the Ignite there. That would have been the difference, which is unfortunate for Harry, but yeah, look, 7 deaths. That's as an Ezreal, that's not how you win a game.
And I think this might just be the biggest gold lead UNSW has had the entire set so
far.
We're only
the first
3
game
games
they won
with a deficit.
Down in gold. Second game they pretty much just got stomped the whole time, so they didn't have any money. But this game, this is the first time I've had a gold lead in a series that they're going to be up, or potentially up 2-1 in.
Absolutely. We check in with the gold. That's 3,000 gold for the MF. Incredibly big. 8, 1, and 6. The performance baddie, the resilience to just keep picking this MF.
Yeah.
Game 1 fell down early, but it was the team fights that turned it around. Game 2 did not work, but here, 3rd time's obviously the charm, because this is working a treat.
I think the big swing in this series will be what can baddie do once MF is off the table? Yeah. Right? Because if he can play other champions and they win this game, well, that's just a 3-1 victory. It's just done. It's just wrapped up. But if he can't, and it goes to 2-2, and then there's a game 5 where MF is likely to be banned again, I feel like UNSW, they're going to have to be pretty creative with their draft.
Yeah, absolutely. As Baron was taken away, everybody resets and just prepping the waves right here. Inhib taken in the bottom side means super creeps constantly pushing into the bottom side of the map. They're setting up for this siege in the mid lane. You have a Talia, doesn't have Weaver's Wall available just yet, but she can flank people at the Inhib, flank people behind the turrets, and there's definitely opportunities here for UNSW.
Absolutely, they're just going to run this wave into the middle lane. Very little wave clear on the side of Monash. I mean, that's the thing, that's what I was talking about. Aurelion Sol, 3-1-5. Yeah, he was having a huge impact in the early game, but it's just so difficult for him to walk up and use his stars, and he just does so little damage to the melee Baron creeps that UNSW, they've got a lot of space to play with.
Yeah, they absolutely do. Floating their pressure over to the top side now. That wave has been building for a very long time. It's going to be multiple Baroned up waves here. No turret to defend under, so they pick the right wave. Binding does land onto the Cassio. But they're actually looking for the engage. Flick, is it available? No, he does not throw it out. Series hits them with the puddle, but that's another inhib going down. Glup buffers the dash. Also buffers the Bellows Breath, but that's another inhib going down, and they're just looking to potentially push on into the Nexus straight through top. They don't care about mid inhib, they're just looking for the end.
Okay, Pillar lands. Talia ult comes through. Stuck on Miasma is the Aurelion Sol, and he's just going to go down. Ceres has to flash over the wall to try and get involved, but it's just too little too late. baddie is just wreaking havoc on the backline of Monash, and yeah.
That might just be it. Bullet time comes out on the backside. Harry barely living, but all of the members on UNSW just hitting away the Nexus. Ben Song fancies himself a 1 versus 1. He loses, but it does not matter as they actually pick up the win, and all of a sudden, UNSW, that's going to be the 2-for-1 in this series so far, feeling very confident.
And all smiles on the face of UNSW. I mean, there's nothing quite like a comeback victory, and they've done it twice in this series already. So spirit's definitely going to be high for them. And if I'm Monash, I'm starting to worry about what happens if I don't get a 5k gold lead in the first 10 minutes.
Yep.
What happens in this last game? Well, in this fourth game, rather, but potentially the last game for Monash. What happens if lane phase is slow and we don't get ganked off and there's no crazy bot fight that we just
can turn around?
Yeah, like what then? What happens if gold is even? Like they have to be nervous.
Yeah, absolutely. Going into match point, it is super nerve-wracking. We expect something like the MF ban coming out. Like, you have to mix things up now that your back's against the wall.
Yep.
You have to mix things up. You have to try different strategies. The Aurelion Soul has looked good, but unfortunately in that game was not enough. They had the Casio counter pick. Fell down early, but it's just about the bottom lane for UNSW. That MF, they've paired it with 3 mages now. We're talking about like the Nami, not too good in early skirmishes, but once they get past that point, the team fights, it's just so potent.
Yeah, I mean, it was just like to be in Ezreal and to get one shot that many times by like a non-moving projectile, like, you know what I mean?
Yep, it's like static. You decide where it is, and that's
static
it.
is a good word.
Yep.
It's just, it's you can't win. It's unacceptable, to be honest. I don't want to be too hard on these guys because it is Unilol.
Yep.
You know, they're not, pro players. They're just here representing their school, trying to do the best they can. And power to them, but you are not going to win if you tank MF ult.
Just playing for the bragging rights and the ability to go overseas to that international competition in China.
Big prize.
UNSW find themselves 2-1 up in the series. We're going to game 4 just after this 10-minute break. Hello everyone and welcome back to the Uni Games here. UNSW find themselves 2-1 up in the series against Monash. And we're going into game number 4. What do you expect's going to happen?
It's a really tough one to call, to be honest. I mean, we're in a series where the team that is leading 2-1 has had a gold lead in only one game, and it was only for about 5 minutes. So it's a difficult one to call. Like, I want to say that the momentum has to be with UNSW twice. If you're UNSW, you can sort of think like, okay, guys, it doesn't even matter if we go down 10k. Like, we could be so far down. Like, it actually means nothing. We will win.
Yeah, 5k gold.
That's a really strong mentality. Like, you can't beat that. Like, you know what I mean? That's the mentality of a team who will play literally until their nexus is destroyed. On the other side,
it's gotta hurt.
Like, how much gold do you need to win?
That's the worst way to, like, losing a winning game is so much worse than just getting stomped, because you're like, look, we screwed up early. Like, yeah, like, it snowballed out of control. It was real rough. But from Monash, they've been winning the early game. It's about bridging through that mid-game point where they really seem to fumble. They have had good, like, macro plays in game number 1, game number 2. Like, they've broken open the map and things like that. But there's always, like, one big play that seems to falter.
Goes wrong. Yeah, exactly.
And it's just a disaster, and then UNSW just take it away.
Yeah, no, absolutely agree. It's just, it's been a very interesting... I'm not sure I've ever watched a series like this before, where one team is just spending all their time getting stomped, but winning the game. Win. Like, it's just, it's absolutely bonkers to me. Please ban Misfortune. Monash University. Monash Uni, tough uni to get into. Very intelligent people.
Got the smarts.
Very intelligent people at Monash University.
Do they have the smarts to ban MF?
Please, thank you.
Yes.
Okay.
They've done it.
That's how you know.
100%. They've done it. It took 3 games. 2 victories, 1 loss, and they finally decided to put Baddie on another champion. He's just been blind picking it, like, very early in the draft. It's not like he's counter picking your bottom lane with an MF. He's just straight up blind picking it in the bottom lane, and UNSW prioritizing this on once again.
The thing about research is that it often takes a long time to get published. You know what I mean? Like, it needs to get peer reviewed. you need to find a publisher who's willing to publish it for you. Like, it's difficult to get studies published, right? So I feel like Monash, they spent the first 3 games, you know, researching, getting their stuff peer reviewed, and now they're ready to put it into action. Right? It's out there. It's in the Journal of LoL. League of Legends Scientific Journal. MF is really strong if you stand still. So they've gotten rid of it, and instead they've just picked Cogmore.
So to run through the draft really quick, we have a bunch of bans we've seen before. Fiddle, Nocturne, Aatrox hit the bench from UNSW. MF, Kaiser, double 80 carries, and the Rengar. Thresh picked up once again here, and we haven't seen a Camille yet this game, so that's some very early priority, but UNSW, this is their style. They don't care if they go down early. They have the scaling, Morgana, Cogmore. And they're happy to play that way.
Yes, Heimerdinger locked in for Monash, I believe. Oh, no, they're still...
No, that's locked in.
They are banning, So, Heimerdinger's been banned, I think, almost every game so far.
Every game, second, like, phase of bans.
So UNSW definitely scared of this Heimerdinger. Monash, game 4 back against the wall. They've gotten to play the champion that they obviously prioritize, and... Thresh Heimer, I wonder who's playing what.
Which, could be interesting. I feel like
Harry's been relegated from 80 carry duty.
100%, as we saw, like, them put counter pick into the mid lane, give external the Cassiopeia into the Aurelion Soul, and it didn't work there. So, of course, going back and prioritizing different things. Swain hits the bench here, as we do start to get through these phase of bans. Aurelion Soul does get banned away. It has caused a ruckus despite losing that game.
I think it's been super impactful. I mean, Monash, the only game they've won, they played ASOL, and that game they were super far ahead again with the Aurelion Soul. And what I think the big difference is for Aurelion Soul is that it opens up Uni for Monash to be more impactful. I feel like that first game we watched, he really didn't do very much at all. But then as soon as they picked the ASOL, there was a lot more room for Uni to be impactful on the map. And I really liked that change from them stylistically. And
you saw, like, the change in playstyle, like, immediately. He was constantly invading with the backup of his mid laner. It wasn't the tentative, like, do I contest the Raptors? Do I go in for this camp? It was no, like, I have a big, huge dragon behind me. I'm going for the marks. I'm going for the kills almost immediately. Lulu hits the bench with the Swain from Monash as they ban away the Aurelion Soul and the Talon. And Renekton does get picked up for series. He's a big Renekton fan, you were saying earlier in the cast, and he locks it in.
Absolutely. Would not be surprised at all to see him pick up that Essence Reaver Renekton.
Lizard Wizard.
And just
bring out the Lizard Wizard.
No, that's you gotta have a Zhonya's. I mean, actually, he might have stopwatch, so maybe he will Lizard Wizard. But no, Lizard Wizard is the Zhonya's.
What? Like why?
Because it was AP. It was AP Renekton. Darian, for those of you at home who haven't followed LoL as long as us two ancient players, Darian was a really old school European top laner, known for destroying his opponent and then building ridiculous items.
Yep.
AP Shyvana, AP. Pretty much he just played bruises, but then as soon as he beat you in lane, he started building.
He started
decap.
trolling. Yeah. Just to rub it in a little bit.
Yeah.
Like.
So he played. He played AP Renekton, and it was called the Lizard Wizard. And there's a very famous clip of him doing the Cull the Meek, the Q, swinging his thing around, and then Zhonya's.
I actually love that Zhonya just holds you in place immediately, like Zach E flying through the air, and his arms are just wobbling everywhere. And he just goes golden. As we have the rest of the draft locked in, it was a Yasuo into the mid lane of the Galio, which is this is UNSW just banking very heavily on Baddie once again.
Yeah,
he's been popping off in the MF. Now on the Kog'Maw, they have so many defensive tools.
That's what they've done every game, and it's netted them two victories. Wins. So why not? On the other side, a lot of AD, a lot of carries on the side of Monash.
Yep.
And maybe they just sort of felt like, look, if we're going to get ahead anyway, let's pick some champions who are just going to destroy everyone once they get some gold. Renekton, absolutely capable of taking over a game.
Yep.
Camille as well. Yasuo, I mean, we all know what a Fed Yasuo can do.
We all know what also a 0-6 Yasuo can do. Yasuo on my team.
We might know that a little bit better.
Absolute garbage. Yasuo on their team. Oh, don't touch it.
Popping off.
Yep.
Samurai. But then the Heimerdinger as well. I feel like Heimer's such a nice fallback because the wave clear is there. Objective control is really good. He's really strong at holding objectives. He's very good at playing the defensive team fight.
Yep.
You know what I mean? When they're diving on you and you're kiting, he's got the turrets down. He throws the big the RE.
Upgraded E. Yep.
The RE, the big bouncing bomb, and you can stun everyone in the line if they're chasing you.
Yep.
So I definitely like that as a sort of a fallback tool.
He's very good. Like if you are the stronger team and you get to set up an objective, like he's not very good like proactively in terms of he's just spamming rockets. He has that poke, but if you get to set up around a Baron, he's very good defensively in that situation. Like he can hold the line. I like that he's like the solo AP threat as a very defensive unit. I kind of like that with the Heimerdinger in this composition. I do worry that Monash are absolutely against the clock here. You know, this is game number 4 between these two teams. UNSW find themselves with a 2-1 scoreline right now, match point, and they have the scaling. Baddie once again gets the all of the eggs in his basket on the Kog'Maw. And Monash going to have to take it to them early.
I mean, they're looking at a different ramp this time. So this is the conditioned game where they think that Monash are going to wait for them on that other ramp, but this time they're waiting in this bush. This one also not working. So maybe the level 1s is an area that these teams can work on for when they go to China.
Yes. Potentially, because they'd be very scoutable at this point, because it's very, very broadcast.
They're going to get to China, there's going to be like 500 people in that bush just waiting for them.
100%. As Monash go for the classic Heimerdinger start, you know, you want to get his turret set up very early.
Yep.
They actually give you vision. I think I was watching something from NALCS this morning where Jad explained how you can put a turret in the bush in the lane, which Vayne's is not doing, and then in the tri-bush as well, and constantly run between, because they take time to like disengage to turn off when you're out of range of the turrets, and you can constantly float between two and control vision in multiple areas.
Okay.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Not taking advantage of this game as they're just setting up for the lane. They don't have to leash and they just want that priority.
Okay. I'm just going to throw it out there. Base skin Kog'Maw. That's the feeder skin.
Nah. Wait, that's the feeder skin?
That's the feeder skin.
Oh, okay.
If you play... when I see a base Kog'Maw...
Because that's an off-roll
like,
Kog'Maw.
Oh, you're going to feed.
Yeah.
You're going to feed so hard.
What about Sona and Kog'Maw? That's the disgusting base recolored orange Kog'Maw.
Yeah, that's a gross one, but at least they have a skin.
I know, that's the good skin.
What? Oh, that's a good player skin, you reckon?
That's like... Oh, I mean, it's my skin. And my Kog'Maw is something to be feared.
Your Kog'Maw is something.
Have you ever seen it?
Yeah, I would have seen it. Sure,
no, I don't think you have, because I've probably played it like twice. unless you just happen to be in both those games.
What you doing, Bryce?
You
playing some Sona and Kog'Maw? Hey, that looks pretty good.
Hey, that's pretty good.
Hey. Get lost to your Bryce. So, yeah, we see Baddie just doing nothing, just sitting on the tower waiting for the wave to come in.
Farm in.
Disgusting base skin.
Because Homing is all about that priority. Sets up the turrets level 1, so they just get to shove in pretty easily. It's what you kind of expect. They're happy to sit back and farm. Sure, they might lose some creeps underneath the turret. In saying that, he's hit 10. Vans has been struggling to CS with the turrets, kind of mucking it up there. Has only picked up a few each wave. Series, I feel like, after the first base, is really going to start running over this top lane matchup. That's where Renekton comes online. He gets towards his Tiamat and can start clearing the wave against Glup on the Ornn.
Really, though, I think it's... I feel... I don't know the matchup all that well. I don't know top lane. There is a gank in the middle lane, though. Yasuo has been taunted, but Uni's here to counter.
And the knock-up lands, so they're going in. Uni actually gets the flash on the back end. Can he clean up the kill? Up for M, gets the turnaround, and Galio, external, looks for a little bit of damage, but that's first blood.
And that's double buffs for the Yasuo. Blue buff doesn't do all that much, but Yasuo with red, certainly very strong. As I was saying, in this matchup, I feel like the big turning point is when Renekton gets the rest of his abilities. I mean, he doesn't use mana, he does have the Rage Bar, and he really just wants to be able to start spamming them. So for me, it's like that level 3, level 4. Before that, because like the Ornn's early abilities are extremely impactful. Extremely impactful, whereas Renekton's it's pretty poo. But once he gets that level 3, level 4, it's a lot easier for him to trade, and I expect him to have priority from now on.
And, it's interesting, this is the first game of the series we've actually got an Infernal Drake spawning as the first dragon. We've seen a few, but we've seen more airs and oceans than anything else, so that's going to spice things up a little bit.
It feels bad, I suppose.
Feels bad for UNSW, you know, they just want to play the scaling. They want to sit back, they want to farm, and all of a sudden, Monash, they have early CC, they have that skirmish, and they might just want to pick up themselves up a dragon.
Okay. Oh wait, never mind. I was going to say, what's your opinion on coin supports taking dematerializer, but that's not what happens. So.
I've done it once. Like, I'm just autopiloting my runes, and then I get in game, and I realize, and I'm a pinger. I just ping like all my runes and everything, and I ping my items.
That's so annoying.
And I was just like, guys, I screwed this one up. I'm sorry.
Did you get reported?
No. Well, I didn't take cannons because I'm not obnoxious. That's a very nice trade. And do you know how hitting a turret?
He's taking the turret.
Goes in. One turret shot is enough, but he's looking for the turnaround. We'll get the heal on Kaldameek if he can get the Q off, but...
Yeah, I think it was on cooldown, so I feel like he used it at the start of the trade, so...
It's only a few minions.
Force? Yeah. Oh, but there's 2 people in the top lane here, and this is going to be a difficult one for Glup to outplay.
Oh, very nice play from Uni there. He holds the hookshot for a second on the turret, baits the flash, and doesn't have to use the flash of his own, and that's 2 kills very early in this game going over to Monash.
Yeah, and those are not champions you want early kills to be on. You know, these are guys who are going to do a lot of damage as soon as they buy items, and I mean, it's so tough. I mean, at the same time though, like, it doesn't matter. Let's be realistic.
Why not?
They could get 50 kills. It doesn't matter.
Because they can't win a team fight?
They can't win a team fight anyway. You're going to run in there. They're going to have 10 Infinity Edges. Yasuo can't hold all that crit. He's got a 200% crit and just instantly die and lose somehow.
Gets taunted, Cogmore, with like half an item. He's got a recurve bow.
Just Cogmore just like one-shots him somehow.
Just whacking away, and they just immediately die. Maybe. We will get to see. As Galio, pretty big point for him is that level 6 mark. I really like his chroma. He's gone for the pink chicken. That's some sass right hands there. He's got like big gauntlets on.
It's like Thanos.
He is. Thank you, Mr. Observer, for switching the Thresh and the Heimerdinger. We've turned this one around. Very nice taunt. Or Justice Punch, I should say.
As Ornn.
Series looking for this play. Can Uni cancel the Ornn Horn? I think he can. They knock him out of range.
They have enough damage.
Series is tanking for just too long. That's the 1 versus 2 turnaround. Glup does not have the flash and gets 2 for his own.
Glup is still chasing because Trundle's on his way. Uni has no flash, and he...
Bellows Breath just picks up the kill on the back end. Very easy turnaround. The
Trundle doesn't even get an assist.
Is an absolute brick. Yeah, the pillar wasn't even there in time, so that's the TP gone from Series. He's fairly low, half HP underneath the turret.
And I feel like Uni had a lot of gold at Camille. I feel like she had a lot of gold. She just went home, bought two long swords. Not sure if I feel like she had Red Smite beforehand, but bought 2 long swords. She was only level 4 when she was diving, and when you're 2 levels below as a jungler, you really don't do very much damage at all. So, look, great turnaround from Glup, but maybe a bit of a mistake out of Uni. We've seen it all in the mid lane.
Looking for that. The Justice Punch was just not enough to cancel the ultimate there from the Yasuo, so they do both trade fairly low. Just chugging through potions is the Galio, but he does have a pocket Trundle on the left-hand side of the screen.
Yasuo's just got a base here. He hasn't based yet. This will be his first base. I imagine he has a lot of money. He has pretty good CS, and 1 kill and an assist. Whereas Galio's already burned the TP once. Looks like he's going to pick up the blue and maybe stay in lane here, knowing that Yasuo has to base, but
I can see him just recalling. This is
going to be a long time. Yeah, it's going to take a little too long for these guys to take the blue. You can't take it from over the wall because he ran out of mana once he used the Q, so probably going to have to be a base here. And it's going to mean he's going to miss some farm under the tower.
And that is what we see. So in terms of the lanes, the bottom lane, exactly what we expect. No deaths, nothing really going down here. Baddie has burnt the flash off screen, so there must have been an all-in play from Monash. Harry maybe landed a hook, burnt the ignite, and Baddie had to flash away from that one. They are down a little bit of CS, but look, Kog'Maw, if he hasn't died, he's not getting dived by the Camille, by the Yasuo. They're all going topside. They're picking on the Ornn. You know, it's not the worst thing for UNSW.
Doesn't really matter. Galio with a death. Oh, maybe, but no, still not. You know, Trundle, we're still just going to pillar and ult, so like...
As long as the Kog'Maw has the capabilities to do damage, then... Doesn't matter how far behind the Galio is, the damage reduction's still there, the CC's still there.
Yep, precisely. And yeah, Glove playing this lane pretty well so far.
Press the attack does get procced, and Series just looking for that short burst trade onto the Ornn. Trying to sustain back up.
Yeah, ping's going down around the Dragon. I feel like maybe UNSW think that they might have started the fire, but Camille just cleared the pink, so they should know that that's no longer the case.
Justice Punch does land. Very nice Q into taunt combo.
Great trade.
And no knock-up available for Alpha, so no ability to retaliate there.
Yep.
Very nice play.
Agreed. 2k the lead for Monash at the moment. Getting some chip damage on the bottom tower. Baddie not really able to do very much. I mean, Heimerdinger is such an impressive laner. So he's just trying to get as much farm as he can on the tower. Looks like they have started this Infernal Drake up. Trundle is in the tri-bush. I feel like he knows something's going on, but he doesn't know exactly what it is. So just hanging around the Dragon, but not willing to commit to coning over or maybe throwing a pillar or something.
And commit is the word there, because Trundle, no dash, has to like either blast plant over.
He's in.
He's either walking around and face checking a thresh or going over the wall, and there's nothing really he can do to get back out. So doesn't choose to take the 50-50 blind. There was a pink ward in the bush from Monash, and it's interesting. Kog'Maw is actually a pretty decent laner. You know, he has the range on his W, does a whole lot of damage, but when you're getting shoved in by a Heimerdinger, like Kog'Maw can poke you when he has the advantage. But just getting constantly shoved in, they're just pulling the wave. Ooh, Binding does land it, the hook goes wide.
It was nice because the shield was used on Morgana, so that hook, no flash on the Kog'Maw, that would have been a kill if that landed, but we're standing on a ward. They're going big.
Flash play, very big play, very decisive coming out, double bounce of the grenade, but it might just be the turnaround. Baddie gets 2 kills, does he? Black Shield goes back down early. Harry barely just trying to live. The minions doing most of the damage, but the Kog'Maw picks up a couple of kills.
And that is just the story of the game.
Yep.
I mean, they're ahead in gold, they have all the pressure, they're ahead in CS, they're getting chip tower on the damage, and somehow Baddie ends up with a bunch of kills. With a bunch of gold that he should really have, and now we're going to see whether he can take over the game.
Yeah, he's got the Galio, he's got the Morgana, he's got the Ornn for CC, so he has all his friends. This is a gank on the top side. Series does not have flash available, so
dash either.
Into knock-up, and he's just going to fall down very quickly from UNSW.
Yeah, Series used the slice and the dice in trading with the Ornn.
That's the killer.
Yeah, unfortunately for him, there was a troll in the river waiting for him.
Slice in, dice out.
Waiting to force him to pay the troll toll.
As soon as you dice in, you're not getting back out from under the bridge. There's a big smelly troll down there.
Pay the toll.
That's a disaster.
Very offensive build out of the Trundle as well. He's just gone sitting on the machete, went Tiamat into boots, just looking to do as much damage as possible. Harry has no flash, and he's just decided to try and take this ward. He does have Heimerdinger on the way though, and I'm
so surprised he got out scot-free there. That's Morgana, like Galio was walking over,
and she had already used a bind.
Round 2, he's doing it again.
Told you, bro. He's just a Viking. He doesn't care.
Harry does not
witness him.
Witness me.
He doesn't fear death at all. He's just like, you want to kill me? I don't care. Let's do it. Let's tango. I want this ward, bro. Yeah, he's an absolute monster. Also, like, earlier in the Thresh game, it was game number 2. I didn't get to talk about it because a fight broke out immediately after, but he's the Thresh player that, when contesting a Scuttle Crab, I think it actually did. Lantern gets into safety. Didn't have to flash, though. So.
But Harry's the bait Thresh. He'll contest an objective and Lantern behind him with no one behind and try and walk at you and pretend that someone's behind. I love seeing that. It's such a staunch maneuver. You know, he's got Alpha Am on his team.
Is this a solo kill? No,
and the Alpha bleeds over.
Difficult, I think. But he does force the flash, so... Yeah, this is, This is a lane you don't want to be behind in.
Yep.
If you're Ceres.
And this is the counter pick. They picked the Renekton into the Ornn. That was the first pick Ornn. They prioritized this one just so highly. Series had a whole wealth of options, went for the Renekton, and is falling behind very early this game.
Emil, yes, they're making their way into the bot side jungle. They're standing on the cone there. They do get spotted on this pink, so I don't think this dive is going to work. TP's coming through from Ornn. Galio is in ult range also.
Does he commit? No.
TP cancelled. Trundle's just going to take this Rift Herald. That's a really nice move.
Absolutely. They read the play. They know exactly what's going on. External cheats into Fog of War down the jungle, kind of floating just far enough away from Monash to not get picked off, but to be within ultimate range. So that would have been a very risky dive from Monash, and they don't pull it and lose the Rift.
That's a brilliant pink too.
Yep.
Like, I really like that pink. They know jungler's top side. They don't have mid priority. If they put the pink in the tri-bush, they know it's just going to get cleared straight away. As gank in the top lane, that's a slice cancelled.
Oh, no dice available. Galio finally lands, taunt lands, and Series once again gets dived underneath the turret. Rift Herald popped immediately.
Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, I think there was a gank.
Yeah, they're looking for the play. Turret will go down, so that is first brick for Monash. Looking for the turnaround. Hook splits the post there, goes straight between two members. 2 versus 3. Can they get the kill? Flash forward. Grenade means no further follow-up. Uni goes in with a turnaround play. Hook shot into the ultimate. And a 2 versus 3 does go in the favor of Monash, but top side, they're losing all their structures.
And that Hextech grenade was just so meaningful.
Yep.
Instantly get the double laser proc from the turrets. Does so much damage. Allows Camille to just flash in with the hook shot. Get a one-shot on the Cogmore, despite flashing forward.
Yep.
But yeah, on the top side,
that is
3 towers.
14-minute base break. They take down the inhib turret, completely opening up the top side of the map. Baddie also goes back.
Tri-bush.
Finishes his Gwinsus, but as you mentioned, TP's coming in. It's actually the Heimerdinger on the flank. Doesn't have the upgrade available, but that's a manaless Ornn and a manaless Galio. The grenade just goes wide, but so much damage. He gets the full lasers from the cannons. Can anyone come up here? Yasuo has the flash available. Wave to dash through. Taunt does land from external. May have just bought enough space for both of them to live. Cost them the flash, but very nice play.
I really feel like something should have happened there.
They have Yasuo flash?
Yasuo had the wave, he had flash. Heimerdinger has flash.
I feel like he had to go up the wave.
They have no mana, like you need, I don't know, maybe that, you know, nerves of course, but I feel like they really could get into something there.
Hextech Ultimatum is down.
Baddie does damage, guys. He's got his Gwinsus.
Yep. If you can't commit to the Cogmore, you can't half commit. Because you go in and he's going to vomit on your face and it hurts a lot.
Imagine getting vomit on your face.
Nah, I think...
That'd be gross.
I mean, it would.
You know
I don't want
the grossest thing about vomit is?
Okay, hit me. Oh, I was not expecting that at all. I was like chunky, you know, like some texture description, but warm.
It is. It comes from inside. Internal temperature.
Okay, moving on. Moving on.
Was it 38.5, 37.5
degrees? 37.5. That sounds about right.
That's warm liquid, bro.
That is. Your mic needs to be turned off. I don't like that one.
When's the next uni finals? Next year.
You're not getting brought back for that one. But Monash, going back to the game, they do set themselves up into a little bit of a 1-3-1. It does mean good things for the Yasuo on the top side. He's fairly strong, 20 CS lead, but that's a binding laning mid lane. Baddie, Black Shield on nothing Harry can do. Knock up lanes despite the Ornn missing, and that's going to be another kill going over to NSW, and the collapse is coming from Monash. Is it too late?
Bensong, sniper with the binds. Really liking this Morgana so far. So it tags another one. Ceres is in the middle though.
Yeah, big taunt. He's going to come out, but Black Shield super clutch. Uni does so much damage, blows up the Cogmore. Double grenade onto multiple people. Alpha M win walls the binding. Yeah. He has flash and claims it's Yasuo's fight to pop off. That's one kill going down. He's looking for the Morgana.
Paris is getting killed by
finds it, but Vans is getting soloed out by the tank.
Picks up a second.
Might just be falling down. Does there. The Yasuo have enough damage to clean this one up. He still has access to the ultimate.
So much armor.
Misses Glup doing so much work on the back end of this fight, and the Yasuo just walks away.
UNSW missing pinging at the end of that skirmish as, Yasuo not able to kill Glup on the Ornn. He's got the Ninja Tabis, the Frozen Fist, the Catalyst for health and mana as well. I mean, this is a tanky Ornn.
Yeah, it's 4 kills. He's a big boy.
Vans is the only guy who can do any damage to him, and he solo killed him. Yep. So, I mean, yeah, Glup on the Ornn again. I think every time he's gotten this pick, he's popped off.
Absolutely. We take a check-in with the gold right now. Big lead in the mid lane, about 1.5k.
Big lead.
Yes, big lead for the Yasuo. I bet he's about to make a big play that maybe I'll talk about next week on the OPL. And Camille, 1k lead in the jungle. Of course, Series pretty far behind in this matchup, but Monash still opting into an airdrop.
Daddy wants this fight.
And do they commit? That's going to be the TP. Ornalty is up and available. Mincam actually gets the steal here. Series on the wrong side of the map. Do they actually go for more? Very nice hook onto the Morgana. That's going to be the pick that Monash start the fight off with. Very nice wind wall. Stops the Ornhorn coming out. Big
Baddie's in trouble.
Onto multiple people, but Baddie stuck between Series and Uni. He pops down, falls down very early.
What can Glup do, though?
Can he do enough? The Cogmore passive does so much damage, but Orn just doesn't have the cleanup, and Monash actually find a team fight win.
Yeah, Baddie caught without his support there. He really needs that Black Shield from the Morgana. There's so much CC, so many just flat stuns on the side of Monash that really, as soon as his W wears out, he can't auto at all if Morgana's not there. And he was trying to contribute to the team fight, unfortunately just gets one shot by the hook shot.
And this is such a different mid-game from Monash, you know? They had the early game lead. Actually, Series is getting onto External here. That's a flashless Galio. There's really not a lot of places he can choose to go. He's looking for a kill back onto the Thresh. Series is just right-clicking the Galio. There's nothing he can do. People collapsing. Another hook lands. Harry just trying to kill the chicken. I did not know that he exploded into chicken thighs like drumsticks. That is very cool.
I think the best part, I think it's when he uses his E and it makes like the chicken cluck noise. He's like,
that's cool.
That's definitely the best part.
I like that one. Barbecue Oliver's Galio skin.
Yeah,
is so Birdio?
Isn't it Birdio?
I actually don't. I don't know the name of this.
What did you call it?
I like Barbecue Oliver's.
You thought it was called
no,
Barbecue Oliver's?
No. I call it
Hey,
Barbecue.
what skin are you using, bro? Barbecue Oliver's?
No.
What champion is it for? Oh, Galio.
I
just say that in the description.
That's like you don't call every skin by its exact name. Like there's like Spaceman Graves isn't like.
Yeah, but you say Graves though.
Well, yeah.
You don't call him Oliver.
No, Barbecue Oliver's is the LCK team.
I know what it is, but you didn't say Barbecue Oliver's Galio. You said Barbecue Oliver's. I don't know who that is.
You were smart enough to infer that we're talking about Galio in this context. Okay. Should have gone to Monash then, unfortunately. So going back to the game, 3,000 gold lead for Monash, as we talk about. The Heimerdinger has a CS lead, big 50 CS lead for the Yasuo, but Series still struggling.
Yeah, I think Baddie really needs his second item here. I think once he finishes his next heal, I imagine it's probably the Hurricane. But it could be maybe Rapid Fire Cannon. I feel like when you're playing against all those melee champs, having that extra range auto is like pretty handy. But again, like Hurricane is the standard and it's definitely the most damage. So not sure, but what I do know is that he definitely needs to finish at least something.
Yep. Absolutely. Not to mention he also has a Morgana. This isn't a Shirelia's Morgana. It's an Ardent Sensor Rush. So they're putting all of their eggs onto this Cogmore. They want him to deal out so much damage. They really need like a controlled team fight front to back where the Galio is laning, dissuading, putting that damage reduction on top of the Cogmore with the Black Shield, on buying time in the backside. Because Glup's been cleaning up kills, but he doesn't need to for UNSW to win a fight. He shouldn't need to.
He has needed to.
Yes, that's a very good way to put it.
But yeah, because on the other side, the team fight for Monash, it's very like rough and tumble.
Yep.
You know what I mean? They don't want structure. They want like 5 1v1s just like separately where the bruisers can all mobility their way around a team fight and like, you know, you slice from one guy to the other guy and Yasuo's just zooming around and Camille's doing flips or whatever the hell it is Camille does. Like they just want they want the Jackie Chan of team fights. Whereas like UNSW, this probably
they just want to be those.
They want a university team fight.
You know like the roadworks with like the big rollers over the asphalt. That's just their team fight. They're just ever so slowly chugging along, and Jackie Chan's like trying to punch this big piece of machinery.
And they're just waiting for his pants to get caught in the roller and just get squished. Oh, that's gross.
That is there's been a few gross commentaries on this cast, but
actually Jackie Chan's getting popped.
No thanks. No,
it's too late.
Yep. Well, you've already done it.
You're already imagining it.
It's on record. The Runans was the item purchase for Baddie on the Cogmore, so
I still like the Runans. When you are against all those melees, it does mean that you don't need to like focus click. The one carry. You can sort of just A move, so you focus more on just the kiting movement as opposed to the click the carry, click the carry.
Not to mention having a serious talk about how these team comps interact in a team fight. Like that's heavy dive. Camille, Yasuo, things like that. Do they commit? No. But he is going to be hitting so many people, like, and he's just got to have to stand and deliver. Like, Camille's diving onto him, Yasuo's diving onto him. He has the damage reduction.
There's not really much room for kiting.
Yeah, and there's like Morgana's shield is either going to be there.
Pillar.
But Pillar.
Yeah, and I think they're only getting on it, although Batty's using all his orders
Galio
on the board.
Comes in, gets a 2-man knockup. Yasuo on the side, but that's an early blow-up series on the backside. But this is just a series of a 1v1 on the backside. Yasuo goes in. Batty actually falls down very early. All of the buttons are already used. Monash, Series, and Van's doing so much damage, and Glup once again finds himself between so many members, and he's just going to fall down. He's not going to be cleaning up this fight.
Wait, what?
And
did he just get ulted off his own charge?
Did he, or was it a flay?
Oh, I don't know.
I have no idea. It could have been.
Yeah.
But who knows? But that's going to be Monash picking up a team fight victory here. 4,000 gold lead. Gives them rights to the Baron. Galio is up. Trundle just spawned, but this is going down fairly quickly. If Galio can get here, he can disrupt.
But they don't have any other TPs, and everyone else is so far away. I mean, Galio is AP, so he does have a bit of damage, but it looks like he's just going to let them out.
Yep. There was no smite there, as Uni did die in the fight. He came out of base, so if he was there a few seconds earlier, there was a legitimately rights for a contest. Maybe a steal away. Would have been rough, but unfortunately
that's the second time that Batty's been caught by Renekton on the back end of that fight, or last time it was Camille and Renekton, but he's finding himself in these choke points where there's not really much room to move. He does have his flash now, so on the next fight he should be able to do a little more as a bind. Lands onto Harry.
Big bind. Runon's coming up from Batty, and they're looking for the 2-man.
He's just doing so much damage.
Gets Camille out of the way, but Series dies incredibly quickly. They're looking to continue the chase, but it might just be the Infernal Drake. Sure, they lost the Baron, but they win the next fight immediately. And they don't want to give Monash 2 Infernals. They want to answer. They want to take 1 for 1, and they do.
Yeah, as long as the team... It's all about... This is another game. With the gold lead, doesn't really matter that much. It's all about the positioning in these team fights. And if Batty's able to auto-attack like he was in that fight, there's not really that much they can do, even though they have that 5k gold lead.
Because it's about like timing of abilities and whether you have to overcommit for a Galio engage. Ideally for UNSW, you want Monash diving in, the Galio used defensively, but in that top river fight that lost them Baron, that was like a Morgana bind, Trundle pillar into a very proactive use of Galio's ultimate, and then Renekton, Camille, they don't really care about a Black Shield, and at that point, that's all bad he has. There's no way he's going to 1v2 them. Morgana's CC is on a delay on the ultimate, so if they have to use those tools proactively, then it's super rough for the Cogmore.
Absolutely agree. And I mean, there's a 3k gold difference on the mid laners at the moment, and
he's
for external, like Galio, like it does not a ton, but what it does mean is that really he's only offering utility. Like some Galios you'll see, like they buy the ring, they have 10 stacks on their ring, they buy like a decap or something, like they still do damage as well as utility. But when you're this far behind, really all he has to offer is the taunt and the ultimate. And so, it's like you were saying, his ult is going to be a huge part of his impact in a team fight. If he's not able to get that big ult, that multi-man knock-up, I fear that he's really just not going to do very much at all.
He's going to be like a one-rotation Galio. The scariest Galios like get a second taunt off that you have to worry about on the backside of a team fight that maybe turns it around, but he's going to land. He's going to Justice Punch forward. He's got to look for the taunt, and that's going to be all she wrote for the Galio. Was Monash making use of their Baron, splitting the map in all 3 locations. 3 members topside take down a turret. Series, despite being behind in the matchup, now has a Sterax, so that extra safety means that with the Baron creeps, he can start pressuring the turret. And
absolutely. Baron creeps. Walking into towers, not really much UNSW can do at the moment, opting not to teamfight. They're happy just soaking the farm. I mean, they definitely outscale, I think, so... As Glup is taking a heavy trade here, but always risky taking a heavy trade when the only person in the side lane, and all of a sudden he's finding himself between 3 members of UNSW.
That's a Galio ulti though coming through.
That's a big old ult.
To 3 members. Do they continue the fight? UNSW are coming. They're looking for the back end of this one. Van's on the side, and Yasuo is nowhere to be found. Hook actually lands. That's going to be the pick-off onto Series, and that was Monash making the play, but Ornn so tanky.
And that's exactly what you were talking about with that Galio ult. I mean, Monash diving forwards, trying to make something happen. It was only a 3v2, but I mean, we've said it all game. Glup is just so tanky. He's just stacking armor. He has the Bramble Vest as well. Like, it's just so difficult for them to kill him, and they tank the tower for low enough that eventually they have to back out, and it's going to be a moment's respite for UNSW against the Baron team.
100%, and it's also like a Sterax series is built there, right? Like, he hasn't gone for a Tiamat because he's winning the matchup and has a Titanic.
Yep.
He doesn't go for that more damage build. Like, he's gone Black Cleaver, of course, but then had to go defensive because he was falling behind pretty early. So the fact that the Yasuo and the Heimerdinger really didn't have an avenue into the fight, they were stuck in the jungle, stuck in rotation, means that by the time Glup eventually falls so incredibly low, the rest of the team is there. And
rotated anyway.
They turn it around.
Yep. Spot on. Okay, well, both the side lanes pushing out for UNSW, so they've got a bit of time to look at getting some vision and pushing the mid wave out. Batty, he's just farming away, working towards that Guardian Angel. I don't know how I feel about it. Like, these have been pretty drawn out fights, but generally, if you die once, you're going to die twice.
They've been drawn out, but not because of the Kog'Maw, right? It's because, like, the Trundle's tanky, the Galio's tanky, the Ornn's tanky. Like, if the Kog'Maw dies at the start of the fight, like, you've lost the fight at that point, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so it doesn't really matter.
I'm not sure. But then again, what else does he build, right? He's getting one shot every time.
Yep.
Like, you don't do any damage if you're dead too. So.
100%, like, the stopwatch is super useful in terms of blocking the one engage, because, like, it has to be hook shot into Yasuo ult. They don't really have many other knockups, like hook or flay, sure, but that's not really starting the fight onto a Kog'Maw.
Yeah.
Yasuo's going to have to prep himself more often than not, but they've done that very well.
Okay, so he's not going GA, he's just going to go IE. I like it.
Yeah, that's a bold call, and
you know what I might? He's an AD carry that believes in himself.
Yes.
He has confidence. He's not going to build any items that are defensive. No chicken items. He's building only man items.
He's an AD carry.
He's there to carry, exactly. He's there to carry. He's playing MF, full lethality. Yep. I don't care if she's meta or not. Okay, I'm playing Kog'Maw. I've got two BFs. Like, that's just so thick. You know what I mean?
He's so thick. That's a thick Kog'Maw.
Like, I see those two BFs. I'm just imagining Kog'Maw, like, holding these giant swords in his hands, just like Bart Simpson helicopter, like
helicopter running.
Helicopter running at them, like. You walk into it, it's your fault.
Monash still just looking to pressure bot side. They unfortunately got picked off as soon as they got the Baron, went bot side, and then got picked off again, so really didn't get much. The fact that UNSW hold their base, they don't really care about the inners, they don't care about the outers. The fact that they still have control of their base is just so good for stalling out this game.
Yep, fits the script. 7k gold lead for Monash, Baron for Monash.
UNSW team fight win. What did you say? Like, it has to be, it's like under or over 10k. So they're at a 7,000.
10k, that's the danger point. Yeah, that's a danger mark.
Okay, so this might be a good omen going into Baron.
Only 6k. But I feel like getting Baron, like if Monash get the Baron and some kills, that's going to be pushing them dangerously close to that 10k mark. I feel like they really just want to siege without Baron. I feel like that's the strat.
Set up some Heimer turrets.
Yeah, look, here's a fire. You've got double fire. Put some turrets down, ult across the wave, and just push the tower. Don't go for Baron. It's not going to work.
Yep, but it's interesting that UNSW are pretty late to the play here. They give over the Infernal without really retaining any control of the Baron on the other side of the map. Playing this one super defensively. Hook. Looking for something, but
Galio wants to do something here.
Looks for the play. Mincam is very heavy in the front line. Do they actually commit? Lantern. Hook lands onto the Ornn. That's not the target they need. Batty is doing so much damage, but the dive's coming through. Can they kill the Kog'Maw on the backside? It looks like it's a no. Series falls down. His GA is popped and bans the Yasuo as well, doing so much to try and keep him alive, but that's 5 members still living from UNSW, and they wiped the floor with Monash.
I'm actually just a prophet.
You called it.
I'm actually just a prophet. I need to monetize this somehow. I need to monetize this skill somehow.
He needs to buy a dog and then do one of those like doggy bowls. And then you're the one that actually crawls and eats the dog food.
Just eating dog treats out of a bowl like...
You're the prediction.
UNSW. Porky.
Batty. Turning around here, actually just flashes over the wall. Yeah. That's a scary, scary Kog'Maw.
Batty just dragging his team across the line.
Yep. No
just saying, I don't care if you do feed. I don't care if you all die. I don't care if we are 10k down. I'm going to China. I want to go. I want to play against the big teams. I want to play against America. I want to play against EU.
100%.
I want to taste the dumplings. He's
balling out of control because he actually sold his stopwatch to buy his Infinity Edge.
The upgraded Infinity.
Yeah. Well, no. He sold the stopwatch before that fight, had the Infinity Edge, and then went back now and bought the upgraded Infinity Edge. what's it called, like Molten Edge, I think.
Yeah. What a baller, dude.
Yeah, he's
what a baller.
He's doing.
I'm a fan.
Some hardcore damage.
I'm a fan of Bowdy. He's made a fan out of me.
Yeah, 100%. Like the MF, you were hating on the MF.
I was skeptical.
You were skeptical. Very skeptical.
Absolutely.
But he turned it around.
I subscribe to the school of skeptical thought. This being uni LOL tournament. Me trying to sound smart. Nah. Baddie. He is bad, dude.
Yeah, exactly.
He's badass.
He needs to name change.
He needs a name change.
100%. Still, UNSW, they do find themselves in a strong map position without a gold lead once again. They're still 2,000
here he goes.
behind. He does so much damage on the back
out.
of Redemption. Series looking to get on, but the... Oh,
he's
knock
got
actually lands. Camille is not enough to take him down. He does so much damage. Brunei hitting multiple people. If they cannot kill the Cogmore, they cannot win the game, and Baddie just kills everyone from Monash.
Absolutely huge team fight out of UNSW. Trying to book themselves a trip to China. He's flexing into player cams. Baddie saying, I can do whatever I want. There's nothing you can do to stop me. I'm playing any champion. I'm doing whatever build. I'm going.
Blind pick MF. Gets banned away after 3 games. Game number 4, match point here for UNSW. Locks in the Cogmore. Does not even care. 20 seconds is the death timers for Monash. You can see all the player cams. They know they've won it. UNSW, they turn around the victory. Sure, they looked weak in the earlier games of the tournament. Monash had the earlier leads, but they absolutely turn it around. They stick to their guns. They stick to their style, and they win it all here.
Hootering and hollering coming from the UNSW room.
Yep.
I mean, what a win for them.
Yes.
What a win for them. Like, they were behind literally in every game.
And it doesn't matter.
In every game, and it didn't matter. And they won anyway. That's going to be, like, in terms of, like, happiness, you know what I mean? Happiness versus performance. Like, you win some games and you're not as happy as when you win other games. But, like, I actually can't think of, like, that's like optimized. You know what I mean? Like, they've optimized how happy you could be after winning a series.
It's the best kind of victory.
Yeah. Man, what a game.
Did they have a gold lead when they hit, like, broke the Nexus? I feel like they probably did. Yeah, nice job. You're on camera, by the way. Everybody knows he has a T.
I had a sore throat, man.
It's all right.
It's all right.
But
you know, they know it now anyway.
UNSW, yeah, just take a sip. UNSW come out with a win. That's a 3-1 performance. Oh, do we get the zoom in? Do we get the zoom in? I've now put the...
let's make it about the guys who won the game. Let's not make it about me.
100% they are. Had a very good performance. You know, we talked to Series in the lobby before the day. He's saying it was going to be a tough series coming in.
Because like you were saying at the start, all the names that we know come from Monash University. Monash were the reigning champions from last year, I believe. Series has played OPL... I'm having a blank on who else, but I'm sure that there were other people on
Alpha
the team.
Am,
Yeah, Alpha
Vans.
Am, Vans.
Vans had very good couple of games.
All players that we know. But yeah, no, we spoke to him before the game, and he said, "Look, I think this actually is going to be quite close. I think it's going to be more difficult than we thought it might be." And yeah, UNSW just, I don't know, man, showing up huge.
Yeah, 100% flexing in the player camps, popping off after the game. They stuck to their style. Like, I am a huge proponent of that. Like, throughout my career, I'm always like, don't pick me, Karma.
Yeah, but they did pick you,
But
Karma.
They did. But anyway, we won't talk about that. But that, you know what I mean? Like, they have that. They went for their style. It worked more often than not. And they just doubled down on match point. You know, like, it wasn't the MF got banned away. They just picked the Cogmore and Baddie. Is just like literally flexing in the player camps, popping off. Like, that must feel so good.
Oh, that's got to be the best way to win a tournament. You know what I mean? Like, just pick, like, no, like, I'm playing this and it works.
Yep.
And it's a come from behind victory, and you're the one who carries it. Like,
the alternative is I'm playing this, and it didn't work, and then you don't win the tournament. But yes, very good performance here. So they should be incredibly happy, winning the bragging rights for their uni as well.
Yeah, and the points, the pennant goes towards their overall uni games. The total amount of points they win. So.
Brought with, like, this is the first time League of Legends has been in with, like, the traditional sports, you know, touch footy, all the uni games, traditional sports there, but the pennant for League of Legends goes to UNSW. They won themselves a trip to China, so they're going to be flying over there soon, competing against the other big regions, against NA, EU, and having probably the time of their lives. But that is it for the grand final for us here today. UNSW take the 3-1 from me, from Tim, from the production room, and the teams. Thanks for watching, and hope you have a good night.